State. TCU and Fresno set to kick off just in a couple of minutes from right now. We'll have that for you after this timeout. You're watching TCU football from ESPN.
What's Marvin doing in the garage?
Helping Bobby make an electromagnet for a school science project.
Marvin knows about electromagnets?
Picked it up on the internet.
I didn't know Marvin was into computers.
He's not.
Finally, a way onto the internet for people who aren't way into computers. Southwestern Bell Internet Service.
Fresno, California, the side of tonight's matchup, TCU and Fresno State in Western Athletic Conference play to start the season. Brian Estridge and Harold McElroy with you. You know, one thing we talked about before the break there was Billy Volek, the quarterback for Fresno State, does a tremendous job. Tonight for TCU, Dennis Franchione will rely on two quarterbacks, will he not?
He will rely on two. Casey Pritters, the true freshman out of DeSoto, Texas, has been a great addition to the Horned Frogs this year, completing 9 out of 13 passes in his first game against Northwestern. Came back with a 5 of 10 last week against Arkansas State. The other quarterback is Pat Bateau. And Pat Bateau will be in there running the option. He gained 94 yards in the Sun Bowl for the Frogs. He is a team leader, and Franchione wants him out there.
We will see both of those quarterbacks here tonight. Patrick Bateau has a little bit of a thumb problem. Let's check in with our sideline analyst, Jeff Williams, for an update on that. Jeff?
That's right, Brian. When you talk about protective gear in football, normally you're talking helmets and you're talking shoulder pads. But tonight, perhaps the most important piece of equipment is a 1x2-inch piece of plaster that Patrick Bateau will wear on his left thumb. This piece will keep his thumb, which was a pulled ligament injury against Northwestern 3 weeks ago. It will keep it from pulling too far out and help protect that in the event that he does take a hit at all on that thumb. This will allow him to play. Without it, he cannot. It does make pitching the ball a little more difficult, but he has learned to adapt by using his right hand on pitches to the left. Back up to you guys.
All right, Jeff Williams joining us from the sideline here tonight as the Horned Frogs and Fresno State are just about ready to get this one underway. TCU football is brought to you by Taco Bell, proud sponsor of the TCU Horned Frogs, here tonight from Fresno. There you see the captains meeting at midfield. Fresno wearing all red tonight in what Pat Hill has described as a make-or-break game, a must game for his program here tonight against TCU, a bowl champion from last year, Harold.
Well, Pat Hill is trying to get Fresno to that bowl level. He's been very successful rebuilding the program here, which was extremely successful back in the Jim Sweeney days. There we see TCU's won the toss. Anyway, Fresno is trying to make a showing. They feel like that if they can make a big hit against TCU, which won a bowl game last year, it will give them instant credibility.
There you see the quarterback, Billy Volek. Actually, that is not the quarterback, Billy Volek. We will see him a little bit later on. Beautiful night here in the Central Valley of California. We're in Fresno, the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains. 89 degrees at kickoff. No humidity to speak of, and it looks like it's going to be perfect for this evening to start Western Athletic Conference play. That humidity a little different than what we see sometimes in Fort Worth, is it not, here?
Well, it's actually wonderful out here, Brian. We're actually broadcasting from outside, and even though it's warm, it really doesn't feel that bad. Got a little breeze blowing, and it's quite a contrast from what we've seen in Fort Worth.
Horned Frogs, led by Dennis Franchione, make their way out on the field here. Jim Sweeney Field. As you heard Harold mention, the longtime successful coach here in Fresno, whose son, you'll remember, played a couple of games with the Dallas Cowboys as a quarterback, was a tremendous quarterback in his own right here at Fresno, Kevin Sweeney.
Fresno's had a lot of good quarterbacks, including Trent Delfer, who's quarterbacking down in Tampa Bay right now. And this is a school that has rich tradition in the passing offense.
Once known as wide receiver U, was it not?
That's exactly right. And we're going to see some wide receivers tonight as Fresno will be lighting up the park tonight with some balls.
There you see Dennis Franchione in his second year at the helm of the Horned Frogs. 8-7 in Fort Worth land, 121, 62-2 overall as Coach Fran, including a couple of ball games here in Fresno. Actually got a win here in Fresno, the head coach in New Mexico.
This is a tough place to play, Brian. The fans really get into the game here. There's going to be a big crowd tonight. They're expecting somewhere around 38,000. The stadium holds 41. Very vocal group. This is a tough place to come in what is also called the dog yard here.
Charles Smith will drop back deep for Fresno State as the Horned Frogs with some final instructions. Chris K. Lackey will kick it off for the Frogs. There you see Mark Tummerdahl, the special teams coordinator for Dennis Franchione's ball club. This is the third of 3 consecutive road games for TCU. They will be back at home next weekend against another California school. San Jose State comes to town. A big winner today over Stanford. There's Charles Smith set to receive the kick from K. Lackey. As the Western Athletic Conference play is just about set to get underway. And in this ball game, be prepared. Both coaches will have some tricks up their sleeve. You better believe it here tonight. This is all important for both clubs. K. Lackey with an onside kick to start the game. Did he fall on it? I don't think he did. Fresno State does. It was Justin Johnson, a linebacker. Boy, it was executed perfectly, Harold, but K. Lackey just could not come up with the football.
It was absolutely a perfect onside kick.
The 25-second clock did not start.
Well, this one's going to come back, and a break already for the Frogs. You see K. Lackey just could not come up with a football.
It was an absolutely perfect kick. K. Lackey follows it down, lets it go the 10 yards, falls on it, but doesn't keep it. And the Horned Frogs get an outstanding break here by being able to re-kick this ball.
A big break for TCU early on. K. Lackey now will tear up again.
15 minutes on the clock.
And already the faithful here in the doghouse not real happy.
15 minutes on the clock. Keep the 25 seconds on the field.
Apparently a problem with the 25-second clocks here early on.
Brian, I'd bet they don't do it again. I think they may be going deep this time.
You think Fresno's expecting it now, huh?
I think this element of surprise is over.
Huge break to start the game, though, for TCU. That one would have put Fresno State starting in Horned Frog territory.
That may set the tone of what may happen tonight, though, Brian. Last week, Franchione, as you've seen there on the sideline, was accused of being a little conservative in the Arkansas State game. That wasn't a conservative call there with that opening onside kick.
And again, Charles Smith, K. Lackey has it teed up. Smith will return the kick from Chris. Looks like he may be set up for the pooch kick. And he is. It'll be taken by an up back of the 26-yard line across the 30 to the 33. Goes Derek Ward, who we'll see in the backfield tonight. Derek Ward, a story of his own. He's got a broken right hand. Cody Slinkard, by the way, made the tackle for the Frogs. Ward has a broken right hand. We will see him, however, at running back. Billy Bullock, the senior out of Fresno Clovis West High School. There you see his completion percentage. His father, John, is the head coach just up the road at Sacramento State. He will start at quarterback for Fresno. In motion across the formation is Billy Jack Pierce, the reserve tight end. And on first down, Chad Baer there for the stop on Derek Ward, the running back for Fresno. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both ball clubs. We will start with Fresno State. We mentioned Billy Volek, the quarterback, Derek Ward, and Paris Gaines. When they go to the one-back set, we will see Derek Ward the majority of the time. There's a receiving core, and a pretty good one, not very big, and an offensive line that averages about 292, but has 4 new starters to begin the season. Paris Gaines is the lone setback now for Volek on second down to throw it. And it's Gaines out of the backfield. Good pursuit downfield by the Horned Frogs, and finally knocking down Gage is 33, Russell Gary, along with Doug Shanks. Defensively, there you see Shanks, along with Aaron Schobel, a guy we will track throughout the night here, just 1.5 sacks away from the career record in Fort Worth. A couple of backers there, Chad Bayer, the former walk-on, and Terrence Maiden. And a defensive backfield that has had problems at times on the year. Jason Goss, a true freshman out of Fort Worth, gets a start at one of the corners. Bullock now facing 3rd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. And the shuttle pass is knocked around a couple of times and finally caught by Charles Smith, one of the wideouts.
Brian, that ball was almost intercepted there. I think it was Sean Wortham. Let's look at it right here on the replay as he rolls out, does the little pitch. Sean Wortham was right there, and a good play by Jason Goss. That's interesting.
Shovel pass early on from Fresno State. Brings up 4th down, and Pat Hill will punt it away. Joel Comfort comes in averaging 39.6 yards a punt. Back deep is LeVar Veal for the Horned Frogs. Pretty good punt return, averaging just over 10 yards for each return. Here's a punt from Comfort. Frogs come after him a bit, and a good one. High spiraling punt. Veal signals for the fair catch. No, he took it, tries to run with it. Penalty marker flies to the 26-yard line. And they'll have to sort this one out as Veal comes down with a football, but this, I think, is going to be the halo penalty, a 43-yard effort from Comfort. As you see on the replay, Veal may have been setting him up for the penalty there, Harold. Didn't signal for the fair catch.
Well, that was obviously a very high kick ball that allowed the defense to get down there. But the defensive players have got to give a 2-yard ring around the punt returner. And in this particular case, the referee ruled
5-yard halo violation on the kicking team. 1st down.
That's what happened, the halo violation, and now the Horned Frogs will start from their own 30-yard line. Let's see who starts at quarterback. It will be the freshman. Casey Prenters out of DeSoto will start at quarterback. There's his numbers on the year. He was 5 of 10 for 88 yards last week against Arkansas State, including a 50-yarder to Mike Scarborough, which is the longest pass play in the Dennis Franchione era in Fort Worth. First play from scrimmage from the Frogs. Prenters to air it out on 1st down. Down the middle of the field he goes. Scarborough is there. And good coverage downfield from Anthony Limbrick, the strong safety, to knock it away on 1st down. And already we see what Casey Prenters can do when he has the football in his hand.
But not only that, Brian, we're also seeing a different Horned Frog team being very aggressive on 1st down. Here's a long pass to Scarborough. There was a little bumping down there, but in the officials' eyes, there was no interference. Big, long pass, something a little bit different from what the Horned Frogs have done any of the first 3 games this year.
Anthony Limbrick, the strong safety, knocked it away. He's used to playing center field. Drafted in the 33rd round by the Atlanta Braves was Anthony Limbrick. Now on 2nd down, Prenters remains in with 4 wides in the package, and Tomlinson, the lone setback behind Casey Prenters, and he'll get the call on 2nd down. And on Tomlinson's first carry, he'll garner 4. Orlando Huff, the linebacker, on the tackle. Here's the offense for the Frogs. Prenters, we mentioned the quarterback, LaDainian Tomlinson. Will also see George Lane in a 2-back set. The wideout Scarborough has become the favorite of Prenters. Cedric James, Dennis Franchione calls him a prototype wide receiver. And a big offensive line up front that can carry the mail for the Frogs, averaging 291, anchored by Jeff Garner and Jeff Milliken, the center and right guard. 3rd down now. And Prenters in a shotgun for TCU. From his own 34, this crowd in it already. Prenters going to run the option out of the gun. George Lane with a 1st down and more, up close to midfield before Limbrick, the safety, knocks him down. But George Lane with a gain of 15, and it's a 1st down. Quickly, look at the Fresno State defense. And a good one it is to Beatty Lockhart, the nose tackle, is a 25-year-old veteran. Linebackers Tim Skipper only goes 5'7". His dad, Jim, is the offensive coordinator with the New York Giants. He's been around ball for a while. And in the backfield, Limbrick, we've mentioned a couple of times already. Peyton Williams, they call him a finesse corner out of Moreno Valley. 1st and 10 now for TCU, close to midfield of their own 49. Prenters again to throw. 2nd pass of the night is caught. This one upfield inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line. Devin Banks on the tackle. Tim Maiden the receiver on this one, and Printers looks comfortable here.
He looks very comfortable. The Frogs have come out passing on first down in this first possession. They went deep on the first time. That time hit Maiden on the curl route. Printers looks very comfortable there in the quarterback position.
Tim Maiden out of Dallas Carter. His brother Terrence, one of the starting linebackers here tonight. One of 3 sets of twins for the Horned Frogs. First and 10, and Casey may be checking off the line of scrimmage now, the 29-yard line of the Bulldogs. 4 wide to the back. 3-step drop. Printers looking at the end zone. He's got a man open. It is caught for a touchdown by Kevin Brown. On the receiving end of the Printers check at the line of scrimmage, and just like that, the Horned Frogs are on the board first.
Kevin Brown, the redshirt freshman, just runs a little streak pattern right up the sideline. And Casey Printers supposed to rise in there, checks it off, Brian. Freshman out there, saw the defense, called the check off, hit Kevin Brown. We got a true freshman throwing to a redshirt freshman, and the Frogs are on the board.
First touchdown of Kevin Brown's career. Dante Marsh was the cornerback in coverage. Brown blew by Kay Lankey for the PAT. His kick is up, and it is good. 10:56 now to play here in the first quarter. And this crowd at Bulldog Stadium in Fresno is quiet. After the Horned Frogs have gotten on the scoreboard first, a strike from Printers to Brown. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+.
You know, Kenny and I never compare statistics or Super Bowl. That way we can drink our Miller Lite without arguing. Right, Mr. Fewer career touchdown passes than me?
Right, Mr. Never Been to the Big One.
We only talk about why Miller Lite tastes great.
It's the choice hops.
No, Snake. Miller Lite tastes great because it's smooth. But let's not fight.
Yeah, you're right. Let's be friends.
Table ready for Mr. I don't have as many passing yards as Dan Fouts?
Hey, that's you.
Miller Lite. Taste the true Pilsner.
I couldn't have been on the cover of ESPN, the magazine, if it wasn't for Chris Carter. He's taught me a lot. He's looked out for me. He's been like a big brother to me. Isn't that right, Chris? All we have to do is tighten this last bolt, and Randy's rocket will be ready to race. Who's the Soapbox Derby King? Who's the Soapbox Derby King?
Your mom's probably like mine. She's watched over you, listened, and loved you. And you're supposed to show her your appreciation with a card or candy? That just doesn't seem like enough. You want to give her something equal to all that she has given you. So do what I did. Give her more time. Remind her to have routine screenings and checkups. A regular pap smear, mammogram, and blood test are the best way to stay in good health. For all the time she gave you, give her some back.
Weekday evenings at 7 on TV 55, it's Simon & Simon.
Since we're not going to get paid for this job.
TV 55 has the shows you know.
Charles Smith is set back to receive the kickoff again from Kay Lackey. This one sails out of bounds, and Fresno State will have it from their own 35. Well, the first series defensively by the Horned Frogs successful, Harold, as Billy Volek didn't really air it out, tried to establish the running game with Derek Ward and Paris Gaines. Also a shuffle pass to Charles Smith as well on the opening drive.
It's very important for the Horned Frogs to be able to shut down the running game of Fresno so that they feel like they can only defend the pass. Last week against Nevada, Fresno ran the ball very effectively. Ward was very successful in his running, and it looked like that's what Fresno was attempting to do in that opening drive, is establish the run.
There you see Billy Volek. Derek Ward is the lone setback for Volek on the second offensive series of the night. The tight end in motion is Billy Jack Pierce. And Volek to throw it on first down. Chased out of the pocket by Shanks. And out of bounds he goes after a short game. That'll bring up second down now. for Fresno.
Brian, as we talked early, Volek is a great passer. He is not known for his running ability. In this particular case, the Frogs do a good job on pass defense. Doug Shanks runs him out of bounds.
You're right, Volek, more of a pocket passer, but it is mobile enough to elude traffic and trouble. Paris Gaines is the setback now on second down. For the Bulldogs with 3 wideouts in this package. Volek looking downfield. He'll outlet to Gaines out of the backfield. Has a first down and more. Up close to midfield before Chad Baird. The walk-on linebacker brings him down, and Paris Gaines out of the backfield gets a first down for Fresno.
Gaines is a great running back. He slips over to the sideline. Volek hits him, and there's just nothing but running room. Jason Dawson, Chad Baird on the tackle there, and make a good tackle.
Here's another look at it from the end zone. You can see Volek go through his progressions, Harold. That was not the intended receiver from the start of the play.
Right, the flat was open. Chad Baird dropped back into the middle. It looked like he was playing the hook zone.
Now from midfield, Fresno with a full house backfield. Derek Ward is back in, and he'll get the call on first down and has a hold inside the 45 of the Frogs and all the way down to the 41-yard line. Goes Derek Ward. Finally written down by London Dunlap.
Derek Ward is a great running back. He had a great game last week. You see him come to the line, stop, jump sideways, jump over a tackler, jump over a second tackler. London Dunlap gets him from behind. Derek Ward will be a problem for the Frogs tonight.
Just like a drill that their running back coach John Settle has them work on in practice. You'll remember that name. The first free agent to ever make the Pro Bowl in the NFL, former running back with the Falcons, now coaching in Fresno. Here on second down, they'll turn and hand it off to Moses, his first carry of the game. Aka Moses out of Long Beach, California. A junior running back. Gets a first down for Fresno now to the 35 as Curtis Fuller, the free safety out of Fort Worth Christian, up on the tackle. There you see Moses. His numbers here early on, 83 yards on the ground. He's a backup fullback until last year when he became a little more involved in this offense. Derek Ward is back in his tailback. And Volek will run play action to him and thrown for a loss by London Dunlap. The defensive end knifes through and sacks Volek back for a loss of 7, make it 8. All the way back at the 43-yard line. There you see the Sun Bowl MVP, Harold. His name has been mentioned early on a couple of times.
Well, London Dunlap will come from the left-hand side of your screen, come from the right defensive end. He's got tremendous speed, runs a 4.640 in there on top of Volek before he could get off. And this happened to Fresno last year, Brian. The Frogs sacked them 6 times.
In a ball game that TCU won in Fort Worth 21-10. Second and 18 now. And it's Gaines on the carry up the middle. He goes to about the 40, maybe 3, before Chad Baird stops him, along with Reggie Hunt on the tackle. Paris Gaines was the go-to back. At least that's what everyone figured heading into the season, until Derek Ward arrived on the scene. Ward is a freshman out of Moreno Valley, California, as we mentioned. Is the cousin of a pretty good back himself, J.R. Redmond out of Arizona State, who had a big day. Third down now. Volek with a bad snap, picks it up and is flushed out of the pocket. Chased by J.W. Wilson, then pushed out at the 46-yard line by London Dunlap again. It'll be a loss of 5, and 4th down now for Billy Volek in Fresno State.
Well, he got a bad snap from center. The ball just comes trickling back. Volek has to pick it up, run to his left. J.W. Wilson and London Dunlap are there, and he's not going to get away from London.
There you see the freshman center, Rodney Michael, with the bad snap. London Dunlap already creating havoc in the backfield of Fresno State. Joel Comfort is out for the second time of the night. His first punt traveled 43 yards. LeVar Veal is back to TCU. Comfort trying to smooth this one out. Veal will grab it at the 10. There's one tackle. 6 red jerseys corral him up at the 14-yard line. Finally brought down by Rashid Safir. And that's where the Horned Frogs will start at the 14-yard line. Leading it here in Fresno early on, TCU over Fresno 7-0. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+. Scoring a touchdown. And now the senior, Pat Bateau, is in at quarterback.
He is in at quarterback, and I think Fresno was looking for the option that particular time. They run a delay back to the weak side to George Lane and picked up a big 11 yards.
Pat Bateau, Tomlinson the lone setback, and we'll see the option. Tomlinson ridden hard out of bounds to the line of scrimmage by the linebacker, Tim Skipper. At 5'7", 200. Skipper, a preseason All-American. Honorable mention. Look at this defense from Fresno all over the field, Harold.
They are. They're quick. They're fast. Tim Skipper at 5'7" covers a lot of ground. It's unbelievable that he can cover that much ground. You don't see very many 5'7" linebackers, but he was first team all-WAC last year as a sophomore.
Now on 2nd and 10, we see Casey Prenters back in at quarterback. 4 wideouts in this package, and Tomlinson the lone setback. They'll run play action. I'm not so sure if he got the play off in time as well, Terrence Dunbar catches the pass, but this one's coming back before they get started. Casey Prenters already tonight 2 of 3 in the throwing game for 51 yards.
He had a big one working there too, Brian.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remaining, second down.
So movement up front on the Frogs will bring this one back.
Now, Terrence Dunbar is one of those receivers that Franchione would like to get the ball in his hands. He is the WAC defending high hurdle champion.
Look at the movement in the interior of the line. I think it came from the center, moving his hand through the defense offside. Second down. And Bateau may be changing up. Prenters may be changing again. Going to air it off. Fires it off down the left-hand sideline, intended for Maiden again. And good coverage downfield by Tyree Sands, a local product out of Fresno's Edison High School. It'll bring up 3rd down now for the Frogs.
One of the differences that we're seeing in this particular game versus prior games is the Frogs have thrown deep several times now. In the first 3 games of the year, they threw a lot of short passes, and I think they're trying to loosen up this Fresno defense.
And we've already seen Prenters checking off at the line of scrimmage. True freshman in there. Crowd starting to get into it here in Fresno on a big 3rd down and 15. Prenters pressured. Quick hitter to Evan Brown again. 1st down and more. Brown forward to the 42-yard line before Dante Marsh brings him down, and all of a sudden, Kevin Brown out of Hewitt, Texas is a factor.
This is a wide receiver screen. Neat thing about this play is Casey's got a strong enough arm to zip it out there so the receiver can take off and run downfield. That was a big pass, had a lot of zip on it, a pass that we haven't seen around the Frogs for a long time.
1st and 10 now for TCU. At their own 42-yard line. Lane and Tomlinson, and it's Tomlinson on 1st down. Spins forward to about the 46. Gain of a long 3. It'll bring up 2nd down now. Justin.
Field, but it's been the passing game so far tonight.
And we knew coming in, Fresno State was going to put the ball in the air. Have not had a lot of success through the air yet. Set back Tomlinson. Play action for Ladanian. Casey off his back foot. Finds his man Scarborough, and Mike Scarborough gets a 1st down inside the Fresno 45 before Tabidi Lockhart knocks him down at about the 44-yard line. So Scarborough getting in the act.
Scarborough's here on a quick hitch, moves to the outside, catches the pass. The defense overruns. He's able to cut it back inside and get that reception. Lockhart really nailed him at the end of that.
Vernon Fox missed the tackle early on. Lockhart, the transfer from California. Here's another look at that hit. Boom. Casey Prender's now 4 of 6 throwing the ball. Here's his 5th completion of the evening. It's to George Lane. Inside the 25 to about the 23. There's a penalty marker down, however. Tim Skipper, the linebacker, was in coverage along with Anthony Limbrick. This one may come back, though, as the flag rests back at the 45-yard line of Fresno. The Frogs trying to speed the pace of the game up a bit there as you see him quickly to the line of scrimmage and getting the play off in a illegal receiver downfield. He's going to bring this one back.
Casey Printers has had the hot hand. Franchione's mixed up the play calling very well, throwing some to the backs and downfield.
Ineligible receiver, downfield, on the offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
So it'll be 1st and 15 now for TCU, who already has 6 first downs in this ballgame, leading it here 7-0 over Fresno. The Bulldogs with just 2 first downs early on have not seen a lot of time with their offensive unit on the field. Second penalty of the night charged to TCU. That was the bone of contention for Franchione last week after the Arkansas State game. And Prenters now on first down. We'll give it to Tomlinson. Finds a little bit of a seam in the middle of the line before Orlando Huff brings him down after a gain of 6 along with Tim Skipper. It'll be 5 on first down. 2nd and 10 now for TCU. There you see Orlando Huff. Pretty good linebacking core for Fresno. Huff along with Skipper, the middle backer, and Justin Johnson, very athletic. Peyton Williams is back in as Fresno goes to the nickel package at one of the corners. Prenters looking at 2nd and 9. Play action again to Tomlinson, and over the middle he goes, looking downfield in traffic, and is gone at the 21-yard line before Vernon Fox hits him. It is LaTerrence Dunbar on the receiving end. The converted running back gets another TCU first down, and Fox is a little slow to go.
Here on the replay, you'll see that the ball is thrown up there pretty high. Terrence uses his track athleticism to get up there, get that ball and pull it down. This is a great catch. Got defenders all over him. Terrence Dunbar could be a stud for the Frogs, another redshirt freshman.
Now Patrick Bateau is back in at quarterback as they take it down to the 21-yard line. High backfield brings George Lane in at fullback, and we'll see the option. It's Tomlinson who slips down at the 23-yard line.
Tomlinson slips.
Anthony Limbrick, the strong safety, was the Fresno State player who applied the pressure on the toe and forced the early pitch to Tomlinson, who slips down. It was Brock Torresdahl, the defensive head of the tackle of Tomlinson. If you want to call it that. There was more like the Bermuda grass of the tackle as Casey Prenters is back in. 2nd and long. Scarborough in motion across the formation there. And Prenters to throw it. Flips it out of the backfield. Lane can't hang on. Limbrick in coverage. George Lane tried to haul it in. It'll bring up 3rd down.
George is becoming an offensive threat. The first game of the year, he was used primarily as a blocking back for LaDainian Tomlinson. But a couple of games ago, he started toting the mail. Now he's catching passes. And another threat to the Horned Frog backfield.
Royce Huffman is in at wide receiver for the first time this year. The punter is one of the 3 wideouts to the top of your screen. Mike Scarborough is the long wide out to the bottom. Prenters with a pump fake over the middle. Huffman can't hang on. Had him at the 12. Royce couldn't reel it in. It'll bring up 4th down. This is a much quicker offense as you see the replay.
Without a doubt, the Frogs are pressing the ball downfield. They are putting a lot of pressure on the Fresno defense. That particular ball a little bit behind Royce, bounces off his back hip, and the Frogs are going to have to try a field goal.
Royce Huffman would tell you that is one that he should haul in. Now Brian Edmondson is in to snap it back to Jeff Dover to hold it. Backup quarterback. Chris Kalacki, this one a 40-yard effort. Kalacki 3 of 5 of the year. This one from 40 yards, it is blocked. That ball is still loose at the 32-yard line. Justin Johnson, I believe, the linebacker, got a hand on it. Kalacki comes up with the football, but a big stand defensively by Fresno.
That's a huge play for Fresno. It turns the momentum in this particular game. Kalacki got that one a little bit low. It was a good snap, good hold. A little bit low, and it came right in the middle of the field.
7-0 early. TCU leads it over Fresno. You're watching TCU football. Bullock, the third offensive series now for the Bulldogs. Starts from his own 32, and the second back through gets to call Paris Gaines. And not a lot of running room there. Reggie Hunt, the safety, in on the tackle. Back to the block kick. Heralded 2 of the last 3 ball games. Fresno has turned a block into a touchdown.
Pat Hill puts a lot of emphasis on the kicking game, and as we all know, that can really turn the momentum of a game. This particular time, they blocked the field goal. Last week, they blocked the punt, returned it for a touchdown. It's a very important part of the game.
Now second down for Bullock. Billy Jack Pierce, the tight end, in motion. Second down, it is Ward. Tries to bounce it outside. Good pursuit by the Frogs. Shannon Brazil makes the first contact before Reggie Hunt is there, along with Curtis Fuller. It'll bring up third down. Terrence Maiden also involved.
You can really see how hard Derek Ward is to bring down on that particular run. There's 4 or 5 Frogs that get a shot at him and just can't bring him down. Finally, from a team, they run him out of bounds.
This ball game early on has been all TCU. 143 total yards for the Frogs, just 28 for Fresno. Delayed a game. Loses the football. It's still loose, and let's see who comes up with it. The Frogs say they have it. Fresno says they have it. And we'll let the referees decide. Still in Fresno territory, the Bulldogs retain possession and grab a first down. I'm not so sure Ward or Gaines ever had it, but no, he does.
He had it. He kind of gets right in here at the tackle. Looks like I couldn't see who it was.
Terrence Maiden.
Terrence Maiden pulls it up loose. He kind of bobbles up. One of the Horned Frogs almost catches it midair. Couldn't quite hold on.
It results in a first down for Fresno now at their own 45. And Volek may be changing the play of the line. Horned Frogs show blitz from the corners. They'll give it to Ward, who breaks through the first seam, still on his feet, and Derek Ward has a first down now at the 46-yard line. A gain of 11 on first down before Aaron Schobel brings him down.
Derek Ward's a redshirt freshman, was not very high on the depth chart as two-a-days started, but has moved his way up, and after the first game has taken over as the premier running back for Fresno.
Ward with 176 yards last week versus Nevada. That is the most ever by a Fresno State freshman. First down. Pierce in motion across the formation. And the second back through is Moser, the only guy. He has Pierce, the H-back, blocking in front of him. Moses takes it forward to about the 39-yard line of the Frogs, where Shannon Brazil meets up with him. Along with Terrence Maiden. It'll bring up now, second down. Clock runs with 35 seconds to play in this first quarter. That has been a fast first quarter. The Frogs starting fast with the early score. Fresno now with their deepest penetration into TCU territory here on their third offensive drive of the night. Long snap count from Bullock. And a handoff to Moses, who scrambles his way forward to about the 38-yard line before London Dunlap brings him down.
You can hear the helmets popping out there, Brian. There's a lot of hits going.
That'll do it for the first quarter of play. TCU leads it after 1-7. There you see a look at Dennis Franchione, whose team has started fast here early on with a 7-0 lead. And Fran pulling a couple of tricks out of his hat already. We've seen two quarterbacks. We've seen them swapping up on series. And there's the big gun for Fresno, Volek, the quarterback of the Bulldogs.
Well, Franchione's been very aggressive in his play calling compared to prior games. You've seen the Frogs pass on first down several times. You've seen him throw deep. You've seen him mix up the plays quite a bit. It looks like a different ball club. I think the Frogs realize in a conference game the importance of what this can mean to the future. And they are fired up.
Let's check in with our man on the sidelines, Jeff Williams, who joins us here in Fresno tonight. Jeff?
All right, thanks, Brian. One thing to keep an eye on, and we haven't seen a bunch of it early on. This is oftentimes a very rabid crowd, if you'll pardon the expression. But it's, for the most part, been held in check, certainly starting off with the opening onside kick attempt by TCU and then the opening drive touchdown on the pass by Casey Printers. The one thing that TCU will have to do in order to keep in this ballgame is keep the crowd out of it. Back to you guys.
All right, Jeff, I got that. The doghouse, Bulldogs, rabid crowd. I got it. Third down. From the 38, pressure, and it's Smith on the receiving end. Inside the 25 to about the 24 of the Frogs before Reggie Hunt brings him down and Gary Patterson, the defensive coordinator, Harold, takes a chance for TCU and sent the house on the all-out blitz.
He did. The house was moving. They ran wide receiver screen to the inside and got a big play.
There you see the first half numbers. The first half that was dominated by TCU in a couple of categories, including 103 through the air for Casey Printers. Time of possession, however, ends up being in Fresno State's favor.
Those passing yards for 103 yards is more than TCU had for the whole game last week at Arkansas State.
Now Volek, the quarterback, shuffles his alignment. And with the play clock's out, I'm not so sure he got it off. Volek, by the way, 4 of 4 throwing the football for 25 yards.
Far down, delay on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Delay, first down.
Volek did not get the play off. The officials will gather as there is a question as to whether or not the play clock is working. The referee, I think, may have seen the 0 of the play clock and inadvertently throws the flag, but apparently it's going to stand. It does stand. First and 15.
First and 15.
At the TCU 30. Rodney Wright is the wide out to the bottom of your screen. Akar Moses the lone setback. Play action for Volek. Over the middle he goes to the tight end. Incomplete. Vince Brandstetter, the tight end, was the intended receiver. He could not haul it. Curtis Fuller was in coverage. It'll bring up second down.
Brandstatter's had a pretty good season already. He's got 3 touchdown passes. He is the kind of guy that they look for down the goal line. You can see him on the crossing pattern there. Pretty well covered by Fuller.
The tight end is very active in this Pat Hill offense. You'll see both of them on the field at times. Brandstetter, the better receiver. Billy Jack Pierce, the backup, will be in as an H or blocking tight end on several formations. Second down. Volek looking for an arm. There's an out to Smith. Running 100. Can't bring it in. That ball may have gone right through the hands of actually Rodney Wright, the intended receiver. Greg Walls was in coverage. He and Charles Smith were both out there. That was Wright let it go through his hands here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where he just short-armed it a little bit. It went right through his hands, looking over his shoulder, thinking, when is that thing going to get here?
We can say this after watching that Alabama-Florida game. He kind of gator-armed it, did he not?
That's exactly right.
Third down. Fresno 2 of 4 on third down conversions tonight. As a team, they lead the WAC at 48%. Facing third and long here, third and 15 for Billy Volek. Pressured up the middle, and Volek goes down.
Stuart Ashley on the sack there. I think that's the third sack for the Horned Frogs. As they get pressure up the middle, defensive line's very active. That was just a four-man rush.
Ashley, the junior out of Katy, Texas. So Ashley was almost untouched, Harold. As you take a look at it on the replay. And Stuart Ashley showing us some emotion here. Fourth down. Volek will hold. Jim Hanna has trotted out for a 53-yard effort. Has the wind behind him. And it's a quick kick. They snap it straight to the kicker, who'll punt it down. LeVar Beal kicks it up at the 10-yard line, and that'll be it. Billy Volek, the quarterback, was on the tackle.
Well, as we talked earlier, Pat Hill works hard on the kicking game. This was a little coy play where he just quick kicks it down there, and he pins the Horned Frogs deep.
7-0 TCU leads it over Fresno. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+.
Is there someone who can tell me how to stay
in the mix, Harold?
Well, this is direct snap to Hanna, the field goal kicker, who just takes and pooch kicks it down the sideline. LeVar Beal is back, just in case. And Billy Volek, the holder, hustles all the way down, was the first guy there with Brandstatter, the tight end down there, to finish up.
Brandstatter also the long snapper. Now Casey Prenters is back in at quarterback for the Frogs, and the handoff goes to George Lane. Orlando Huff wraps him up. Casey Prenters early on, 5 of 9, throwing the football. Over 100 yards already. We've seen Pat Bateau as well. Now 2nd and 10 for TCU. They're on 10-yard line, deep in Frog territory. Printers on play action with time. Fires it out and is caught at the 22-yard line. That is Cedric James. On the first down, Peyton Williams and Anthony Limbrick in coverage, and Printers threw a shot.
Well, this is where you can see the strength of Casey Printer's arm as he sets back and guns this thing. The camera can't even keep up with it out there to Cedric James. And that helps the Frogs get a little better field position. They're down here in the south end of the end zone where they call it the boneyard. These fans are really loud on this end of the field.
8th first down of the ball game for the Frogs. That's the 4th reception of the year for Cedric James. 1st and 10 now for Printers. And it's Lane again, the fullback.
George Lane, the fullback.
To about the 26, where Orlando Huff wraps him up. Actually, they'll spot it forward closer to the 27. It'll bring up now 2nd down for TCU. 2nd down at about 4.
The Frogs are using all their weapons tonight. Lane has had several rushing attempts as well as pass reception.
He has been a part of this offense. 2nd and 4. Tomlinson gets the call, but not a lot of running room. Sabini locked up. The transfer from Cal Berkeley. All the stop. It'll bring up 3rd down now for TCU. Lockhart's a load. 6'3", 280.
Bulldogs are shooting the gap on that particular play. Frogs run right up the middle, right into the stunning linebacker.
And LaDainian Tomlinson yet to get on track after the 269-yard Saturday night Jonesboro last weekend. 3rd down. And listen to this crowd. Printers on 3rd down. Pressured, eludes one backer. He'll buck it under. gets to the 31-yard line, he'll be close, but just short of the first down. This crowd, you can see Printers in the shotgun. May have had to go on a silent count. Maurice Rodriguez finally brings it down, and Casey Printers a little slow getting up.
Brian, you saw the intelligence of a freshman quarterback then. He could see the linebacker was going to blitz. He was trying to tell the back to pick him up. He scrambled, got free, and almost made a first down, coming up about 2 yards short.
Now Royce Huffman is out for the first time. Charles Smith is back deep to receive the punt from Huffman. Edmondson will snap it back. Fake punt. Huffman clears it out. Breaking a tackle is Reggie Hunt. He'll get to the corner and get a first down. 45-yard line. Midfield he goes. Down to the Fresno 49 before Limbrick brings him down, and we are deep into the playbook already.
TCU is opening up all stops tonight. They're doing it all. That was a fake punt from the 30-yard line. And I think Brian Edmondson gets out here and throws the big block. As we'll look over to the right. There's Reggie Hunt going. Actually, that's Curtis Fuller with a big block there. 2 blocks.
Reggie Hunt takes it all the way inside the 50. Royce Huffman, who has played some quarterback in his day. Reggie Hunt, who's a former running back in high school.
Royce was actually recruited as a quarterback. Reggie Hunt runs like a running back if you watch him on this particular run.
Wow, that takes guts from your own 30-yard line. First down to Patrick Pateau and the quarterback, Tomlinson. All the carry on first down all the way down to the 47-yard line. Vernon Fox, the free safety, up to make the hit on Tomlinson. It'll bring up second down. Well, we've seen an onside kick. We've seen a pooch punt out of a field goal formation for Fresno. And now the fake punt from Dennis Franchione deep in his own territory has the Horned Frogs back in Fresno territory.
The tricksters are at work tonight. This isn't Halloween.
No, but it's a fun night in Fresno. Second down. Pat Pateau is back in. Thinking Casey Printers, I should say, back in at quarterback. Penalty markers fly. Printers may have a free down here. He'll fire it out. It is caught at the 30-yard line. Let's see. Mike Scarborough on the receiving end, but he may have been out of bounds. There he was. But there's a penalty marker down to the 49. Dante Marsh was in coverage on Mike Scarborough. It was a free play.
That was a big one. Mike Scarborough makes a good catch on the sidelines, but can't quite get his feet in on the ground. The referees are saying he was out of bounds. That was a great catch. It was a great scramble by Casey Printers, who had rolled to his right, came all the way back across the field. And Franchione is giving the referees an earful on this one.
Here's the official word.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
So it will remain second down and a long 3, make it 4. You see the total numbers. Horned Frogs already 135 through the air. Pat Pateau is back in at quarterback. He and Printers are substituting not only on every other series now, but every other play at times. Depends upon the formation. Option to the short side. Tomlinson hunts and pecks. Down to about the 40. Alan Harper, defensive tackle on the stop. Looks like it'll bring up third down and short.
Pateau is a master running the option, and he's in there. This particular play, he's going to run to his right. The thing that Pat does so well is put pressure on that defensive end immediately. That particular play, the end was charging. He dishes it off to Ladanian for a nice 4-yard gain.
And Royce Huffman is back into the lineup. We call him the punter because, of course, last year he was slack. Wide receiver, punter, punt return. There's your third down conversion. Facing third and short here, Huffman is part of the full house backfield in motion now. And Pateau to throw it on third and short. Better unload it. Pressure, steps up, lost it. Flares it out incomplete, no one in sight. Devon Banks was applying pressure on Pateau. The fans here at Fresno One intentional grounding, boy. Another big play by Brand. We do have a penalty marker down at the 47-yard line, and that is, in fact, the call. Intentional grounding by Bateau.
Well, Bateau was looking for Royce Huffman over in the left flat. Felt like he wasn't there.
Intentional grounding. Lost it down at the spot.
3rd and 1 call. He thought he might be able to get Fresno looking for the run up the middle. Huffman wasn't open. There was a wide open receiver down the middle. Here we see Huffman coming into the flat. Fakes the run up the middle. Gets good pressure. Going for the home run. He cannot find him. Dishes it out to the outside. Kyle Williams was right up the middle. But Bateau did not feel comfortable going that long.
Kyle Williams playing double duty as defensive lineman and tight end. Royce Huffman out to punt it away now. Charles Smith is back deep. Good punt from Huffman. Smith from the 16. Has some room forward to the 29-yard line. Where it will bring up first down. Brian Edmondson, the long snapper on the tackle. It's a fun.
Security official Anthony Phillips. Thank you.
There you see the new Super Frogs for TCU, who have been Super Frogs here early on, leading at 7-0 over Fresno here in the 2nd quarter.
TCU has moved the ball effectively. They've played good defense. They've kept Billy Volek from getting that passing game established. It's been all TCU pretty much in the 1st quarter and a half.
Now Volek starts from his own 29-yard line. That's Ward who takes it outside. And up close to another first down before he's ridden out of bounds by Charlie Owens. It'll bring him 2nd and short, make it 2nd down and a long 2 for Fresno. There you see the padding on Ward's right hand inside the glove. He's left-handed, so he carries the mail with the left hand. You'll see here. Now 5 carries for 35 yards here early on for Ward.
He's actually playing with a broken right hand.
Moses, the lone setback to protect. Mullen, who's pressured inside. Shannon Brazil makes the initial contact on Mullen. Back at the 27-yard line. It'll be a loss of a play. It was about 12, the 3rd sack of the day. Chad Bear was also there.
Here you see Shannon Brazil coming in from his linebacker. He was on stunt position, coming straight in, and Shannon thinks that's pretty neat. From Louisville.
3rd down now. Big 3rd down play here. And they'll hand it off to Gaines. Subsequently goes for a gain of a couple. It'll bring a 4th down. And the faithful here at Fresno don't particularly like that call on 3rd down. LeVar Hill on the tackle along with Shannon Brazil again. It'll bring a 4th down, and Pat Hill will elect to punt it away as he sends out for the 3rd time tonight.
TCU has kept their normal defense here, just knowing what's happened with this kicking game so far. The punt routine is not in. They have their standard defense in.
They just send LeVar Hill back. Bobbles the snap, but somehow gets the punt away. Does Comfort. Bill watches it hit. Look at this. All the way down to the 14-yard line. Terrence Brown finally downs it down to the 14.
Comfort has had a problem with this in prior games, catching the snap. It happened once before, 2 games ago. The Horned Frogs were in there. They've got a chance to make the tackle, get tremendous field position. London Dunlap missed. Ashley runs too far to the inside, and then he gets a 52-yard punt.
Here's another look at it. the Frogs kind of freeze. Charlie Owens does. And Comfort with a great effort. 52-yarder pins the Horned Frogs back of their 14-yard line. On first down, Printers delay to Tomlinson. Wrestled down. By Jaquina Giamatti.
Some of these names are a little tough on you, Brian.
Whose brother's Giuseppe. Jaquino Giamatti.
TCU on the delay up the middle. Giamatti is there and just pulls him down with one hand. That's a strong man.
Wow. Out of Santa Cruz. 2nd and 12. Printers in the shotgun at the loud end of Bulldog Stadium. With time, now his pocket breaks down, almost slips, and is brought down. At the 3-yard line, Tabidi Lockhart stays with him, along with Justin Johnson. And the Frogs are backed up.
The referee actually is going to call him down on the one, saying that he was in the grasp before he broke free here. Again, they're bringing the Sam linebacker from the left side, putting a lot of pressure on Printers. He's trapped back there, and the Frogs have got some long field position here. Like a 99-yard kind of field.
3rd and 23. In the loud end of Bulldog Stadium. Casey Printers tries to take the timeout before the play clock runs down. Let's see if he did. He does. Printers will get credit for the timeout.
Again, we're down here by the dog pound, and these fans are really loud. And Casey Printers wasn't real sure about that particular formation. The band's right behind him playing. The freshman trying not to make a mistake, calls the timeout, goes over to see Coach Brand, and what do you call on 3rd and 23 from your one? 3rd and 23 from your 1-yard line. Brand's probably asking Casey, what do you want to call? I don't know.
There you see Pat Hill. Let's check in down on the TCU sidelines with Jeff Williams. Jeff?
Well, oftentimes coaches will tell you whenever you've got stadium noise that is this loud, go ahead and run the play because it just encourages the opponent's fans. Well, they've just been encouraged, but there's no way that Casey Printers could have effectively relayed his signals out there. It was deafening. There's no way the rest of TCU's Horned Frogs could have heard a thing he was saying. But again, as you can start to hear, they've been encouraged.
A wise move by the freshman Casey Printers to take the timeout. Let's see what he does now from his own 1-yard line. A big play here in the second quarter, 3rd and 23. And
timeout, Fresno State, first charge, team timeout.
Fresno State takes a timeout because 12 men will appear and to take the timeout. 4:51 to play here in the half. Frogs lead at 7-0. You're watching. Well, here in Fresno, they call their fans the Red Wave. They're starting to get into this one as the Frogs pin deep in their own territory.
And if you thought it was loud, those first 2 plays that we had the timeout, you're going to not believe what you're going to hear on this play. They are geared up.
You read my mind there. 4:51 to play. High backfield here for Casey Printers. From his 1-yard line, it's 3rd and 23. They'll roll him out. Printers has a man that's made. Up forward he goes to the 21-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. But a good, safe play as Anthony Limbrick and Conte Marsh bring him down. As it gets some breathing room for the punter, Royce Huffman, on 4th down.
Well, the quarterback, Marsh, was given a lot of cushion in this particular play. Maiden runs down, does a little comeback route. There is nobody within 10 yards of him. And that is quite a relief for TCU to get out from the 1 to the 21.
Maiden almost turned it into a first down. Huffman out to punt it away. Rodney Wright is now in as the punt returner. Taking it is Charles Smith. Penalty markers fly as Huffman has moved one here into the Fresno night. Bobbled by Smith, but he falls back on it at the 26-yard line. There's a penalty marker down to the 18. And there you see it. Greg Walls on the coverage of the Frogs. This one may be coming back, however.
That was one of those high pop-ups there, and I believe the receiver misjudged that one, fell on it. But this one's coming back, Brian. Looks like we've got a little movement in the line before the kick. That was a tremendous punt by Huffman, extremely high, very difficult to field. But we've got a lot of discussion on the field here. We're going to hear it from the referee right here.
We have an illegal formation. Only 6 men on the line. On the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay. 4th down.
So the split ends were not on the line of scrimmage, you're saying?
You've got to have 7 people on the line of scrimmage that particular time. The Frogs only had 6, so they got to repunt it.
Now Royce Huffman will punt it away again. This time standing at his own 2. Edmondson to snap it back. Fresno with a block on, but Huffman gets it away. Smith from the 46. Across midfield he goes, but he stepped out of it. The late flag now, a late hit, I think, going to be charged to TCU. David Scarborough involved in it. As the flag rests at the midfield strike. And it is a personal foul against the Horned Frogs. Here's another look at
this particular play. He steps out of bounds right there at about the 46-yard line. The Frogs can't hear the whistle. They think he's still alive. Come in for the tackle. Mike Scarborough is probably going to be...
Unnecessary roughness on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
That particular time, Mike Scarborough came in to make the hit. To be honest with you, I don't think Scarborough could hear the whistle blowing. The runner was still going, didn't know he stepped out of bounds. The flag was thrown from the middle of the field, and Fresno has got a great opportunity here starting on the 35-yard line of TCU.
After the 39-yard punt, the 15-yard penalty. Fresno on 1st and 10, and Volek, the quarterback. Trailing at 7-0. Winding down here, the first half pressured up the middle. Volek eludes one tackler and unloads it. Gaines out of the backfield. And Paris Gaines will get a couple. Sean Worthen had it. Jason Goss finally brings down Gaines, but Sean Worthen was applying the pressure up front and had a good shot at Volek. Just couldn't reel him in.
He really did. Sean Worthen's coming right up the middle here, the big defensive tackle, number 95. He comes in, kind of gets a piece of the jersey. Can't hold on to him. Volek did an excellent job avoiding the rush. Jason Goss comes up and makes the tackle.
2nd and 8. And Volek to throw it again. Flush down. Eludes the pressure. Brought down from behind. Ball loose on the field. It's picked up at the 21-yard line. Let's see if they rule it dead. At the 26, the tight end Brandstetter comes up with a loose football.
They're going to blow this one dead on the 26. Again, Sean Worthen was in there applying pressure. Kind of waves at him as he comes by.
After Volek's flushed out, it'll bring up 3rd down and short.
You see Worthen coming in again. Gets one hand on Volek. He gets free. Ball comes out there. That ball was actually loose, Brian, before he hit the ground.
Nonetheless, back to action. 3rd down and short. The 1st down carry for Derek Ward after the gain of 3. They'll get the 1st down for the Bulldogs. Move the chains. With 2:29 now to play in the 1st half. Bird Jones was on the tackle that time in as one of the defensive backs. Sean Worthen checks out for the defensive line now. And we see J.W. Wilson, the senior out of Fort Worth, Trinity Valley. First and 10 and Bullock to throw it. Looking for an all wide open and just overfires Charles Smith. And Bullock took a shot when he let go of it.
He did. He had a wide open receiver in the left corner of the end zone. Smith's running down the end zone totally uncovered. Bullock throws a little bit deep. He's had that problem a couple of times this year. Even though he's a very accurate passer, he has had a tendency to overthrow some wide receivers. As you see on this particular play, he is wide open.
Boy, oh boy. That's 7 yards on Jason Goss. J.W. Wilson and Chad Bayer, by the way, provide the lick on Bullock, who on second down hands it off to Gaines, who bounces it outside. Spins ball inside the 15 to the 14, where Goss brings it down finally. Good strong running there by Harris Gaines, the sophomore.
Gaines is a tough runner, bounces it to the outside, comes around in, runs by McCarty. Hunt misses. There's Jason Goss and Fuller in to wrap him up.
Fuller was kind of hanging on for dear life. Gaines was still churning. 23 yards already for Harris Gaines on 5 carries. He's out of there as Ward is into the full house backfield behind Bullock with 3rd and short. It'll be Ward. Up the middle he goes. He will be close to a first down. Curtis Fuller and a whole group of frogs handle the tackle.
He don't have the first down here, Brian. You know, the amazing thing about this, up until this particular possession, the Frogs have pretty much dominated this ball game. Total yards moved up and down the field, but only have 7 points to show for it. And here's Fresno knocking on the door.
Moving clock with 1:06 to play here in the first half. Bullock flushed out again. Penalty markers fly and ridden out of bounds by Shannon Brazil. This one may be a hold. This one may come way back, and it will. With 55 seconds to play in the half. Well, wait till the official to give us the word here. This one is going to back Fresno State up, as it is a hold.
Down.
On the Bulldogs. 55 seconds to play in the half. They'll spot it back at the 21-yard line. You know, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. That gives Billy Bullock a little more room to work with in the passing game.
Exactly right. Shannon Brazil had a sack there. I think that was either 4th or 5th sack for TCU today.
Please put 54 seconds on the clock. 54 seconds on the clock. Correction. 55 seconds. 5.
Having a little clock trouble tonight here, Brian. Had trouble with the 25-second clock. Now we got a little problem with the game clock.
Fans, stay with us at halftime. We will visit with a representative of the Las Vegas Bowl. Both of these teams trying to fight their way into that one. Now Bullock. Shuffle pass again. This time Smith has some running room. Chad Bayer writes him down from behind to the 14-yard line. It'll bring up second down. We will also visit with Coach Dennis Ranchoni right before he heads to the TCU locker room. And there's a timeout now taken by Fresno State. Here's another look at it. Second time we've seen this play tonight.
Little inside shovel pass. Can't quite tackle him there, but hold him for about a 7-yard.
Smith had to avoid his right guard, Michael Stovall, sophomore out of Nebraska. There you see Dennis Ranchoni, who has to be pleased with his first half effort.
I think he's got to be extremely pleased, particularly with his freshman quarterback, Casey Printers, who's looked real well. The defense also has played extremely well, although Fresno's right here in scoring position in the half. I know he doesn't want to see that, but the defense has done a good job of handling the passing attack of the Bulldogs. Bullock has not been as much of a factor as we thought he might be. but there's a lot of football left to play, Brian.
The Horned Frogs have excelled in first halves, struggled in second halves here early on, just 8 points in the second half of the previous 3 football games. A win over Arkansas State. Tough close losses to Arizona and Fort Worth and at Northwestern in the second week of the season. Second down now for Billy Volek and crew at the Horned Frog 14-yard line. Volek directing the at 13. 3 receivers has Motti to the bottom of your screen for the first time tonight. Volek swings it out, gains out of the backfield, gets a block, leaps forward. He'll take it down to about the 1-yard line. Charlie Owens up into for the Frogs. Fresno can actually get a first down without getting a touchdown, and they're going to be close here. Here's another look at it.
Got a little swing screen over on the left-hand side. Frogs are outnumbered. Charlie Owens is there to make the tackle. Stops him on the 1-yard line. I think the Frogs were looking for a ball to be thrown down the field that time.
Short of the first down, though, was Gaines. That'll bring up third down now. Third and short. Just outside of the 1-yard line. Down to 20 seconds to play and a half. Quick snap count. They'll give it to the fullback. And I don't think he got in. I believe that's Derek Ward on the carry. As they unpile, check it was Moses. Aka R. Moses does not get in. But he will have a first down and stops the clock with a timeout here taken by Fresno with 15 seconds to play before the half comes to an end. It will, however, be first and goal, and that ball is about as close as you can get. As you can see here, Moses.
He's about as close as he's going to get to that goal line without being over it. I'm telling you, he is right down there on top of it. And I bet you the Horned Frogs are coming with all guns up the middle on this next play.
Kyle Williams and Sean Worthen both there. That, by the way, the 9th first down of the ball game for Fresno here in the first half.
That's Pat Hill there, the head coach for Fresno State, talking to Billy Volek, consulting on this particular play. They got 15 seconds and about 4 inches.
And Gary Patterson, the defensive coordinator for the Frogs here. Let's see if Paris Gaines remains in. He does. His scouting report is he's the best leaper on the team if they decide to go over the top here. Frogs with the lead, trying to hang on here before the half comes to an end. First and goal for Fresno. Look how close it is. 6 inches to the goal line. Volek, play action, looks in the end zone, has some running room to take it himself. Volek with the score. And Fresno's within 1 as the fireworks light up the night sky in Fresno.
That was a great call by Pat Hill, knowing that the Horned Frogs are going to bring everybody up the middle, trying to stop the dive over the middle. He runs a bootleg out to the right-hand side. Everyone is sucked in. Even though he's got tight end open in the end zone, he decides to run it in. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
Now Hannah for the PAT. And we are tied. A 10-play drive, but a penalty marker flies. And they'll sort this one out. It was a 10-play, 50-yard drive for Fresno that took 3:40 off the clock. Aaron Schobel a little slow getting off the field for TCU. And I think this penalty is going to be against the Frogs, and the PAT will stand.
Dead ball. On.
Well, the penalty was a personal foul against the Horned Frogs. And the PAT will stand. They'll assess the penalty on the kickoff. Here's another look at it. Volek finds his way into the end zone. The penalty flew late. And there's your scoring drive, capped off by the Billy Volek touchdown run. And Fresno's tied this ball game up with 10 seconds to play here in the half.
Well, you can see Franchione there trying to get an idea of what the personal foul was. It looks like he didn't like the answer he received. This will be marked off on the kickoff. And, of course, with only 10 seconds left, the Frogs are not going to get good field position. But, you know, with what's been going on in the kicking game, Brian, this is an excellent opportunity to try an onside kick for Fresno. They're going to be kicking from the 50-yard line. There's only 10 seconds left in the half. If they don't recover it, the Frogs probably only have time to run one play, and they won't be in field goal range. So it would not surprise me to see a little onside kick here from the Bulldogs.
The hands team is out for TCU. That includes Kevin Cullen, a former quarterback, along the front with Tim Maiden, a wideout.
7 blank.
It is teed up in midfield after the personal foul charge to the Frogs on the PAT. Tied at 7 here. 10 seconds to play before the half. Hannah trying to kick this one through the upright. It may have done it. So much for the onside kick. It sails through the end zone, and the Frogs, from their own 20-yard line, would not be surprised if this Franchione takes a knee here. It'll be just like starting over the second half, tied up at 7 apiece.
Well, obviously, Pat Hill was satisfied to end the half, he's hoping it was 7-7. Did not want to give Casey Printers and his strong arm the opportunity to throw a long bomb here right before half.
And it does look like the Horned Frogs will line up in their victory formation, and Printers will take the snap and go to a knee. He does, and this ballgame has lived up to the billing. These two ball clubs were picked 1 and 2 in the Western Athletic Conference preseason polls. And we are tied at 7 apiece at the half between TCU and Fresno. Ballgame that started out fast and furious for the Horned Frogs. Casey Printers, there you see the freshman quarterback with a pretty good opener on the first drive for the Frogs. It got TCU up 7-0, and then with 15 seconds, I should say, to play in the first half, the Bulldogs get on the scoreboard thanks to the Billy Volek touchdown run. And we are tied at 7 apiece. Let's quickly check in with Jeff Williams and Coach Dennis Franchione. Jeff?
Coach, first question I want to ask you is, I need some proof of ID. You had a lot of misdirection type stuff, usually a little more conservative than that. You had the onside kick, fake punt, throwing on 3rd and 1. Can we expect more of that in the second half?
Well, I think we have tried to be aggressive, tried to open up a little bit. Casey's been ready for a little bit more, and certainly in the kicking game, we had some things that we thought were very good tonight.
And once Fresno State finally did get on the scoreboard, this place did start to rock a little bit. How is your team handling the noise? Because it's pretty severe on this end.
Yeah, I think they handled it okay. We got a couple foolish penalties on the last drive here that hurt us, but they weren't because of the crowd.
Right. Best of luck, Coach. Thank you. And we'll throw it back up top.
All right, Jeff, thanks a lot. Tied at 7 apiece. Halftime in Fresno. We're in the Central Valley of California, and we're tied between TCU and Fresno State. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+.
Sure, my old job gave me a paycheck, but it didn't give me much else. So I called ITT Tech. I always liked electronics, and with their help, I was able to turn what I like to do into what I'm paid to do. Now I have a job that gives me some real satisfaction, and something I never had before, a real future.
For an informative brochure, call ITT Tech at 1-800-823-6320. That's 1-800-823-6320.
Architectural firms need you. Civil engineers need you. High-tech companies need you. If you know computer-aided drafting, top companies need you today.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 1-800-823-6320 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-823-6320, but call now.
Because construction companies need you. City planners need you. Landscape architects need you.
Replace your old roof now and pay as low as $96 a month. Don't wait.
Your Sears authorized installed roofing professional says, buy it now before the busy season starts and choose your favorite roofing style with no money down and payments as low as $96 a month. It's our most affordable roofing option. Call this number now and have a Sears authorized roofing expert provide you with a free in-home estimate. We're America's largest roofing installer. We do all the prep work and leave you with a beautiful, durable new roof. You'll get satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Call today and take advantage of no money down and pay as low as $96 a month. This may be the perfect plan for your needs. So call your Sears authorized installation professional right now. For installed roofing, gutters, doors, and fencing, call this 800 number right now. Improving your life by improving your home.
Hi, I'd like to start getting home delivery of the Sunday New York Times.
Now you can enjoy Sunday even more by getting the New York Times delivered to your home every weekend. And when you call now, you'll get 50% off the regular home delivery price.
I enjoy waking up and having the Sunday New York Times waiting for me. I know it'll tell me things that I won't hear, read, or see anywhere else.
I get international and cultural news, and I get a jump on the week ahead.
For just $2.50 a week, you'll get the book review, travel, arts and leisure, week in review, and the New York Times Magazine.
On Sunday mornings, we catch up on what we really love. She goes straight for arts and leisure. I check out the magazine.
So call now to enjoy the Sunday New York Times for 8 weeks with home delivery at 50% off.
Hi, I'd like to start getting the Sunday New York Times at home.
I think the only thing I enjoy more than doing the crossword puzzle is actually finishing it.
Call now, 1-800-643-6784, and get the Sunday New York Times delivered to your home every weekend.
For me, Sunday was made for the New York Times.
Introducing Play from Columbia House, the cool new music club where you get 12 CDs free when you buy one now for just $9.95. Shipping and handling is additional. Play's got what you want, tons of music, but no cards to return and no automatic shipment. And members can order by toll-free phone or online. So get 12 CDs free when you buy one now for just $9.95. Grab your credit card and call now to get this special limited-time TV offer. 12 CDs free when you buy one now for just $9.95 with no cards to return and no automatic shipment, ever. All you get is all the music you want. So join now and get 12 CDs free when you buy one for just $9.95. Grab your credit card and call now.
Grab your credit card and call now, 1-800-646-5700. That's 1-800-646-5700.
Love questions. Call Psychic Talk for a free reading and get the answers you need.
Did you have an actual police officer come over to your house?
Yes, I did.
Did one of them ask you out?
Oh, my God. It's totally embarrassing. Yes.
Go out with him. It's a match. It's a love match.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Oh, my God. You guys are amazing. I'm definitely going to tell my friends to call.
Are you attracted to a friend that nobody knows?
Yes, I am.
Dark skin, light-eye man.
Oh, yeah. His name is James.
Does he work in a restaurant or a nightclub?
Yes, he's a bouncer. I just want to know if this is real.
You met somebody recently.
Yes, I did.
About 3 weeks ago?
Yep.
In a nightclub?
Yes.
Yes. I see that he has dark hair.
Yes.
And he's a musician, but he wasn't playing there that night.
He is a musician. How could you know so many specific details? That is amazing.
Believe in us. We're for real.
Your free reading will amaze you. Call now.
Call 1-800-471-1235.
Back live in Fresno, halftime where the TCU Horned Frogs and the Fresno State Bulldogs are tied up in the WAC opener. Here at Bulldog Stadium, Jim Sweeney Field, it has been all that we talked about. Brian Estridge here at halftime along with Michael Mack part of the executive committee for the Las Vegas Bowl, which of course will host the WAC champion this year in postseason. Two ball clubs here tonight would both like to be in that ball game, Michael, and tell me your thoughts on this first half after seeing it. You got to be impressed with both ball clubs. Like to see them in Vegas.
Well, we knew it was going to be a competitive ball game, coming in. We knew both head coaches would have both teams ready to play, and you got to be impressed with the freshman quarterback for TCU, obviously.
Talk to us a little bit about how the Las Vegas Bowl goes about selecting a bowl team. Obviously, the WAC champion is tied into this game. What do you guys look for in a potential team?
Well, it's real early, but we knew starting at the end of last season this was going to be a very big ball game. We needed to have somebody here to really check this out and see what both teams have to offer. But we really look at the tradition, how well that school is doing that year and how well that they travel and how many people they can bring to Las Vegas to see our city.
That's a good point. The Horned Frogs last year, champions of the Sun Bowl after knocking off Southern California, took some 15,000 fans to El Paso. That has to be a plus in their favor.
We were well aware of that, and we knew that's why we needed to be here. This is a big game for both teams, and TCU, just an outstanding team. We knew they'd be ready to play tonight.
Fresno State calls their fan group the Red Wave, if you will. They took thousands of fans to the Freedom Bowl in their last bowl victory against Southern California. This is a program that has a tremendous fan following here in Fresno.
Well, and that's what's exciting. We know with the Las Vegas Bowl, we're going to have two excellent football teams. No doubt about it on December 18th in Las Vegas. So on the WAC side and the Mountain West side, we're going to get two excellent teams, and that's exciting.
So the Las Vegas Bowl will, in fact, feature the champion of the Western Athletic Conference and, as you mentioned, a member of the Mountain West as well.
We get the second selection from the Mountain West Conference. Again, it's very early, but that's what's exciting. We get two great teams.
When you talk those two conferences, you better believe that's going to be an exciting ball game. Neither one of them going to walk out of there a loser. We're going to want to walk out of there a loser, are they?
Right. And come to Las Vegas and enjoy it. It's a great place to go, and we really want to showcase our city. It's a great place to go.
The Las Vegas Bowl has really matured in the last couple of years and has turned into one of the better bowls, especially on the West Coast.
Well, we really get to kick things off. We're one of the very first games, and that's exciting, certainly. And we have a couple new changes this year with the new stadium at Sam Boyd. It's renovated, natural grass playing field. We have a new title sponsor in EA Sports, and we just continue to grow and mature at the bowl game.
Free plug. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Michael Mack, part of the executive committee of the Las Vegas Bowl, joining us here at halftime with the Horned Frogs and Fresno State, tied at 7 apiece. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+.
What? Do you remember that night we made that little, home video?
Yeah.
I think we just returned it.
Anti-lock brakes, just one of over 40 features now standard on the Volkswagen Jetta. We're gonna erase this later, aren't we?
This ain't no Mickey Mouse. This ain't no Looney Tunes. This is anime. And it's taking America by storm. Now, you can catch the anime fever or turbocharge your current anime video collection with the best of Japanese anime 2. But be warned, the best of Japanese anime 2 ain't no kid stuff. It's animation grown up and gone wild. Call this toll-free number now and get Wrath of the Ninja delivered to your door for just $4.95 with subscription. Call now, and you'll get a bonus anime video, Project A-ko versus Battle 1, absolutely free. That's right, you'll get 2 fire-powered anime videos for just $4.95. This is a limited-time offer of apocalyptic proportions, so call now.
Order your first Best of Japanese Animation 2 video for just $4.95 plus $3.99 shipping and receive your free anime video. Call now, 1-800-358-0196.
We have the shows you know. TV 55, KLDT, Lake Dallas.
TV 55 has the shows you know.
Jeff Williams back with you at Bulldog Stadium. 7-7 our score, TCU and Fresno State. The Bulldogs getting the late touchdown, and as you look behind me, you get the idea of the red wave we're talking about. Fortunately for TCU, they were able to keep that at a low tide for most of the first half, but a little storm brewing late, the Bulldogs tying it up. they have to, Dennis Franchione and his crew, keep this one under control. Back up to you guys.
All right, Jeff, thanks a lot. It's tied at 7 apiece. We have a special guest joining us here at halftime of this ball game, TCU and Fresno State. All knotted up. Rick Thompson, the general manager of the ESPN TCU venture, if you will, in Fort Worth. A joint partnership, Rick, that has seen TCU and ESPN partner and merge the power of two into one.
Exactly right, Brian. And it's just a big part of what's going on at TCU in the athletic department. ESPN Regional, so proud to be a part of that excitement. And it's building on what the Frogs did last year, building on what we're doing this year. We are part of the future of TCU athletics, much like Casey Printers is.
That's exactly true. You know, Rick, like this ball game here tonight is part of that ESPN TCU joint venture.
Right, the folks back in Dallas-Fort Worth watching the game here tonight is part of our package. You've seen the ESPN Plus, tremendous work in the truck. You guys, the work you all are doing here up in this booth. We're looking for even bigger things than basketball too, Brian.
Talk a little bit about some of the future plans for the basketball program and football programs at TCU as they relate to the ESPN property.
As we go through this, we've been on board about 5 months, as you know, and we're working through this football season. We are, as you know, we're the multimedia rights partnership with TCU, so we've been able to get into the radio and the television a little bit. And as this contract and as this TCU plays out with ESPN, you'll see a big difference and a lot of more added value in what the Frogs, ESPN can show. Basketball is a good case already. There's going to be 9 televised games this year of the Frog in basketball.
Television is definitely in the future for TCU as part of this partnership with the ESPN Regional, as Rick mentioned, the multimedia rights holder. We also may see some other things that come out of this relationship. We've seen them already with the purchase of some new signage in the stadium, all to make the experience a little more pleasant for the fans.
Oh, it adds a lot of value to the scenery, the design of the stadium, what I'm looking for. Also in basketball, you have rotating signs, football rotating signs. It gives a lot more value to our sponsors, too, especially with those added television games.
Rick, it is good to have you and ESPN part of the TCU family.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
There you have it from Rick Thompson, the general manager of the TCU ESPN joint venture in Fort Worth. We're at halftime in Fresno. TCU and Fresno State tied at 7 apiece. You're watching TCU football on ESPN+.
Stay tuned to receive your free trial version of America's #1 accounting software for small business.
Okay, folks, here's your business card, letterhead, and my invoice.
How did you create this invoice?
With QuickBooks accounting software, I called the toll-free number and got a free trial version.
Wish I had time to learn new software.
It takes no time. Answer a few simple questions and QuickBooks tailors itself to your business automatically. And if you can write a check, you can use QuickBooks. QuickBooks makes it easy to see who owes you money and how much you owe. It also does invoicing, payroll, and inventory. Plus, you get customizable reports and graphs that puts you in control of your business.
To try QuickBooks free, call 1-888-210-8900 for your free trial version. Or if you also need time tracking, estimating, and project costing, then try QuickBooks Pro. Either trial is yours free for calling 1-888-210-8900. That's 1-888-210-8900.
If you have love questions, call Psychic Talk for a free reading and get the answers you need.
Did you have an actual police officer come over to your house?
Yes, I did.
Did one of them ask you out?
Oh, my God. It's totally embarrassing. Yes.
Go out with him. It's a match. It's a love match.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Oh, my God. You guys are amazing. I'm definitely going to tell my friends to call.
Are you attracted to a friend that nobody knows?
Yes, I am.
Dark skin, light-eye man.
Oh, yeah. His name is James.
Does he work in a restaurant or a nightclub?
Yes, he's a bouncer. I just want to know if this is real.
You met somebody recently.
Yes, I did.
About 3 weeks ago?
Yep.
In a nightclub?
Yes.
Yes. I see that he has dark hair.
Yes.
And he's a musician, but he wasn't playing there that night.
He is a musician. How could you know so many specific details? That is amazing.
Believe in us. We're for real.
Your free reading will amaze you. Call now.
Call 1-800-471-1235.
It is halftime, and TCU and Fresno State are tied at 7 apiece. As we're just minutes away from the start of the second half. The first half, Harold, as we mentioned, that has seen both ball clubs pull out all the stops, and the Horned Frogs were the ones to get on the scoreboard first against Fresno State. Here's a look at it. After an impressive drive, the Horned Frogs get on the board.
Well, Casey Printers is going to hit Kevin Brown here on a streak pattern right down the sideline. He's wide open, makes a great diving catch into the end zone. Casey Printers' first touchdown pass at TCU.
Here's another look at it. Kevin Brown, the freshman, as you mentioned, Harold, early on. That's his first touchdown reception as well.
Two freshmen teaming up there. In fact, TCU's got several redshirt freshmen that have played tonight that are doing well.
Fresno would respond, though. It would take them a while. Late in the second quarter, right before the half came to an end, it's Billy Volk.
Well, there's 10 seconds left. The Horned Frogs sell out up the middle, thinking there may be a dive over the middle. Volek rolls out on the bootleg, gets it into the end zone, and we're tied at 7.
Here you see Royce Huffman as the bag of tricks was opened for Dennis Franchione. Fake punt to Reggie Hunt. It was an exciting half that sees the Horned Frogs 155 yards through the air compared to just Fresno State's 46. Time of possession fairly even. Third down conversions, you see a little in favor of Fresno. But as we mentioned time and time again, I mean, we've seen 3, 4, 5 trick plays already from both ball clubs.
Well, this wasn't what we expected. If you look on that board and see TCU only with 36 yards rushing, and we said that TCU was predominantly a rushing team coming into this game, and we said that Fresno was predominantly a passing team. And the two roles are totally switched here in this particular game. Another thing that's interesting, though, Fresno has got a season average of converting 48% of their third down tries, and you can see that they have been very successful so far in this particular game.
The 2 quarterback rotation system that Dennis Franchione has worked here early on. Casey Printers, we saw him lead the scoring drive. Patrick Bateau has been effective as well. Here's some scores from earlier today in the top 25. That was Thursday night's ball game, Georgia Tech over Maryland. Florida State in a ball game that was held in Jacksonville. Big winners over Duke, the #1 team in the country, Florida State. So the Seminoles will stay on top. East Carolina, no letdown after the Miami win last week. Big winner up at West Point. And Michigan rolls in the Big Ten. Drew Brees could not bring the Boilermakers back. Michigan State stays undefeated. And Nebraska with a Big 12 victory. Georgia hangs on. LSU had a shot at the end on a 2-point conversion that failed. And Kentucky with an upset.
That's a big one over Arkansas there. That was definitely an upset.
Syracuse.
How about Marshall there? Marshall's moving on up. Wallops Miami of Ohio here.
Led that ball game at one point, 32-0. Mississippi State over Vanderbilt in the SEC, and that was a good ball game. Notre Dame over Oklahoma. Oklahoma led that ball game for much of the game. Bob Davies, Fighting Irish, though, come out
the second half,
the victor.
TCU would receive.
A couple of more ball games in the top 25. Florida falls at the Swamp. Alabama, Mike Dubose may hang on for a little while longer with a 1-point victory. Ohio State, that's a shocker. Wisconsin, who lost to Cincinnati earlier in the year, now comes back to beat Ohio State. Kansas State all over Texas. Virginia Tech. That ball game was in Charlottesville over Virginia. Southern Cal in the Pac-10. And A&M shocked by Texas Tech, who lost 2 weeks ago to North Texas.
That really surprises me. Tech's doing without Ricky Williams there and comes up, upsets the Aggies.
Tennessee all over Auburn. Kansas knocks off SMU, and in the WAC, Rice with a win over Tulsa. There's a surprise. San Jose State with the upset over Stanford. Stanford, the leading contender early on for the Pac-10 berth in the Rose Bowl, and San Jose State, who come to Fort Worth next Saturday with the upset.
Well, maybe that's why Coach Franchione said every game is a big game. When you look at what this WAC has done, we've got some teams in this year that are performing much, much better than is expected. And San Jose State is definitely one of those. They now are a contender for this WAC championship.
The Horned Frogs will receive the kickoff to start the second half.
Brian Estridge, you know, Fresno, I think, has got a definite advantage in their scheduling this particular year. The three premier teams in the WAC appear to be TCU, San Jose State, and Rice. And Fresno catches all three of those at home.
Got a break there. The Horned Frogs, of course, here on the road tonight in Fresno. play host to San Jose next week. And then we'll travel to Rice in late October. Jeff Hanna to kick it off. Mike Scarborough drops back deep for the Frogs, along with Reggie Hunt. Hanna's kick, that is Reggie Hunt who bobbles it and brings it in. Finds a seam across the 25, 30. Hunt still loose. Now with a cut back, and Hunt may take it the distance. Down to the 10, to the 5, and Reggie Hunt has taken this one all the way back to start the second half. A 94-yard kickoff return by Reggie Hunt. And this crowd is in disbelief.
This guy is totally in shock, as well as this crowd, as Reggie Hunt has just electrified TCU. And let me tell you, Brian, Reggie is no new kid on the block when it comes to running kicks back. He ran a bunch of them back in high school, came to TCU as a running back. And, you know, he almost got caught there about the 30-yard line, made a stop, cut back, and avoided Sam's defensive back, who was about to run him, catch him from behind. A great run by Reggie Hunt.
Now Kay Lackey for the PAT. Bad snap. Dober bobbles it. Still loose on the field. It's slapped around a couple of times and finally blown dead at the 18-yard line. And let's see if that one comes back to haunt the Frogs. Tim Skipper was causing all problems. Here's another look at the return by Reggie Hunt, who's 10th in the NCAA's coming into this ballgame in kickoff returns.
Well, this was set up actually as a middle return, and he breaks it outside. All the defenders were grouped to the inside where all the blockers were. Reggie comes out, makes the good cut back at about the 30-yard line, and scampers into the end zone.
And I was as guilty as everyone, Harold. There were a couple of times I'm thinking, he's going to get tackled. Let's take a look at how he tight ropes the sideline here. There you see the kicker, Hanna. Reggie, boy, right up against the sideline, makes the defensive back Sam's miss, and from there, it was all coasting.
They are crying over this one. You know, I bet Reggie's brother's happy. There's Reggie right there. His brother plays for Texas Tech defensive ends. They pulled off the big upset against A&M.
Officially a 95-yarder. Reggie Hunt's already been selected to be a member of the 2000 Hula Bowl team. That kickoff return there puts the Frogs up 13-7.
Reggie was also voted preseason the WAC Defensive Player of the Year.
And one of the finalists, the contenders for the Jim Thorpe Award. Kay Lackey now to kick it off. 13-7, Charles Smith is back deep. For Fresno, it'll be Smith from his 3-yard line. Smith himself has a hold of the outside. Cuts it back across the 40. And finally brought down by the kicker, Kay Lackey, at the 48-yard line. He made Greg Walls miss and got a few extra yards because of it, and the kicker has to hold on.
Kicking game, kicking game, kicking game, Brian. We've had fake punts, we've had onside kicks, we've had blocked field goal attempts, we've had must snaps on the extra point, we've had kickoff returns for a touchdown. Here we get almost back-to-back kickoff returns for touchdown. Kicking game.
Charles Smith says, I can do that too. 48-yard line now for Fresno to start the second half. Volek, the quarterback, will air it out on first down. Has his man across the middle. Inside the 35 to the 34-yard line goes Rodney Wright, the sophomore out of Bakersfield. Hanging on for dear life was Terrence Bain, the linebacker. First down for Fresno at the Horned Frog 35-yard line. I believe that's where they're spotted. Let's see, here's another look at it.
We got a quick look in over the middle. Hunt comes in a little bit low. Let's Wright get by. Big play. Here you look at Billy Volek, 8 out of 11 for 63 yards. Brian, it looks like the second half is going to be a little fast-paced.
13-7, Frogs lead it in motion as Smith across the formation. That's Moses, the big hitter. Up the middle he goes where Curtis Fuller and Terrence Maiden hang on. Akar Moses. Put his head down on that one.
Russell Gary's in on the blitz from the right-hand side. They run right up the middle. he got the safety there to make the tackle.
Second down now for Fresno. Second and short. At the Horned Frog 26-yard line. Bullock to throw it. Over the middle, it's Smith again. Inside the 20. Cuts back to the 15 and Russell down by Curtis Fuller. But not before Charles Smith has another Fresno first down.
The receiver's on a crossing right here. Russell Gary fell down. You'll see the receiver coming from the right-hand side across the middle. Russell Gary's supposed to be over there. He slips down. There he is. Down. You got the receiver going out. Great tackle.
You can see Charles Smith wrestled down at the 12-yard line. The offset eye again behind Volek. First and 10 of the Frog 12, and slipping down is Ward behind the line of scrimmage. Derek Ward falls down. That'll bring up second down now. Loss of a couple of the play for the Bulldogs.
14-yard line. Second and 12.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Second down, second and 12. At the 14-yard line. 4 wideouts in this package for Volek. One set back behind him. It is Gaines. And Volek with a quick hitter to Smith. Tries to elude the tackle of Curtis Fuller. Could not get it.
Gain on the play. Covered by
and Fuller hangs on down to the 14-yard line.
Again, they're trying the little wide receiver delay. Kind of a little screen. Fuller plays this one really well. Comes up to the pressure for basically no gain.
And now third down for Billy Volek in Fresno. 3 wideouts to the top of your screen, 2 to the bottom. Smith is to the top. He has been hot lately. Looking to the bottom, though, is Volek, and he's got his man. Bernard Berry. Checking is Salim Mahdi. 6 and not 5 on the receiving end, and Mahdi takes it down inside the 5 of the Frogs. His first catch of the 99 season, and Volek just threw a shot into it.
There you see Billy Volek and how valuable he is to this particular team as he hit Mahdi there. Jason Goss was in on the tackle. We're looking at 4th and 1 here, Brian. Another big play.
Let's see what Pat Hill does here. Play clock is down to 7. Late getting some personnel in, and they're going to have to take a timeout. Not sure what they were trying to do there with the personnel they had in the lineup.
First charge, team timeout.
The kicker was not in, so they were going for it on 4th down, but we'll do it after we come back after the break. 11:06 to play. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+.
Is there someone who can tell me how to stay healthier?
We take lots of vitamins.
My brother lifts weights. I've had cholesterol tests done, and they're low. I swim. I bicycle. I do triathlons. And
I try to eat right and get exercise.
I use a 40 sunblock.
For 70 years, Harris Methodist Fort Worth Hospital has been meeting the healthcare needs of North Texas. Harris Methodist Fort Worth Hospital. We're here for life.
Made me feel great. I want to live to be 100.
You get the watermelon and hurry or we'll be late to the game.
Gotcha. Bambi, get the game. Gotcha.
Let me guess, Horned Frog football. This happens every time we go down the produce aisle.
Great day in the morning. What once was lost now is found.
I thought these were extinct.
That's what they said about the coelacanth.
A full-size spare, just one of over 40 features now standard on the Volkswagen Jetta.
It's a prehistoric fish. Disappeared over 10,000 years ago, and they caught one off the coast of Madagascar. Coelacanth.
So Horned Frog, 3-yard line. On the year, 43%. On fourth down conversions, this would be the first attempt on fourth down for Fresno, if they elect to go for it here. And they will. Derek Ward is a lone setback for Volek. Pearson motion across the formation, play action. Volek flushed down the pocket, flushed down and sacked. Back at the 7-yard line, thrown out of bounds, and the Bronx will take over on downs. Schoenworth with a big play from the defensive line.
Well, Sean has waved at the quarterback a couple of times. He missed the opportunity for a sack. This particular time, he gets him, though. Look at the big man run. Grabs him by the back of the jersey and pulls him out of bounds.
Frogs weren't going to let Volek run for it that time. He scored on that play at the end of the first half. Vince Brandstetter, I think, was the intended receiver. Couldn't shake free, though.
He was looking for the tight end over the middle. Brandstetter has caught 3 touchdown passes this year, and when they're in close to the goal line, you can bet Brandstetter will be in the sights of Volek.
Casey Printers, the true freshman, is back in at quarterback now for the Frogs, who start from their own 8-yard line. Leading at 13-7. On first down, it's Tomlinson wrapped up by Alan Hart, along with Chiramani.
Fresno is really keying on Danian Tomlinson. As you can see, he takes this straight handoff, and Harper meets him right in the hole, and he is happy.
Well, if I was the defensive coordinator, I would key on Tomlinson, too, after last week's 269 yards against Arkansas State. Printers, pressure from the corner, steps up and fires, and overfires its intended receiver, Devon Banks, was the cornerback applying pressure on Casey Printers. Harold, we haven't talked about it. Fresno State runs the same defense you see in the NFL, the zone replace, or the zone blitz defense made famous by Dom Capers and Dick LeBeau of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, they like to bring the cornerback, particularly from the backside, and apply pressure. Then they drop a defensive end off to our linebacker to cover the flat.
Casey Printers now 7 of 12 throwing the football, 135 yards. Had the touchdown early on to Kevin Brown. Big third down play here, the loud end of Bulldog Stadium. Printers out of the gun. Here's the pressure from the corner. They find Maiden, who's got some room. Sprint forward across the 15, out of bounds. Going to be close. Depends upon the spot here. May have gotten a good spot. Terrence Brown finally runs him out of bounds. And it looked like the old electric football game out there for a second, Harold. Great blocking by the wideouts for the wide receiver screen.
Tremendous block here by LaTerrence Dunbar. Watch him, number 3. Takes out the man right there. He gets inside and, woo, barely gets there for a first down for the Horned Frogs.
Anthony Limbrick was the safety that Dunbar took out. First and 10 now. Printers with the eye behind it from his 19, a long snap count. Second back grooves Tomlinson to about the 20-yard line. Justin Johnson, the linebacker, over time.
Again, they were blitzing from the outside. Johnson goes through totally untouched. Stops, there he is, he almost all sides. Stops Tomlinson for no gain.
You also saw 51, Tim Skipper, the middle back you're in.
That little 5'7" guy gets around, Brian.
He can play. Kind of reminds you of Sam Mills. Played for years in the NFL with the New Orleans Saints. Printers checking off out of the gun. Play clock is down to 2, and he got it off. Option out of the gun. Tomlinson drops the football. Still loose and recovered to the 24-yard line by Anthony Limbrick, and a penalty marker late. And some frustration, I think, by the Frogs with a loose ball. Chiramani and Skipper are involved. Let's see who else is out there. And maybe Jeff Billiken, the right guard, and it is. Referee still trying to sort it out. Right in front of the Fresno bench. And a break for Fresno, deep in TCU territory. Looked like the pitch was sound, Harold.
Pitch looked good. It looked like that there was an audible on that play. The Frogs were in the gun. They decided to run the triple option out of the gun to the left, and I really couldn't tell what happened at the time.
Personal foul against the offense. Fresno State recovered the ball.
Here's another look at it. Tomlinson just took his eye off the football.
He really did. He was looking to see where he was going to run next. The ball hits him right in the chest, but you can look at his eyes and tell that he's looking downfield. Never catches the ball.
And I think the penalty's on Jeff Milliken. Right there.
Yeah, there's Milliken coming in on the pile trying to get the ball loose.
Frustration penalty there. Hurt the Frogs last week against Arkansas State. They were able to overcome it, however. Now Fresno starts at the Frog 14-yard line. First down. That's Ward. Inside the 10 he goes. Actually close to the 10, to about the 12-yard line. Fred Wright in on the tackle, along with Reggie Hunt.
You can hear those pads hitting on this particular play. I'm telling you, these guys are playing some football. Ward's coming off there. I think he took a blow to the chest. He may have some busted pads.
Also playing with a broken hand. Moses. Let's see if he is back out there. He is back out there. He left earlier on the last series, was shaken up. And Akar Moses will be the lone setback. Atnoff Harris is to the top of the screen in motion across the formation. That is Billy Jack Pierce, the tight end. Moses stood up and brought down at the line of scrimmage. That's Terrence Maiden, along with Greg Walls. Third down now upcoming for Fresno at the Horned Frog 12.
Terrence Maiden here on the right-hand side steps up, fills the hole. He's really come back and having a good season. He broke his arm, his hand actually, early in the year, was kind of hampered. He and Chad Bear are alternating at that in-setting spot.
Third down conversions on the night. Fresno 4 of 9. They lead the WAC at that category at 48% coming into the game at Bullock. Pressured and had to just unload it. Wow. Is that Doug Shanks? That is Doug Shanks. Horned Frogs read that perfectly. They'd seen that on the last 2 third down plays. Jeremy Blackwell was in at fullback, and I think may have missed Shanks, the defensive end. And that'll bring out the kicker, Jeff Hanna, who will attempt a 28-yarder now.
That was a huge play by Doug Shanks with Fresno here in touchdown position to have to settle for a field goal.
Bullock, the quarterback, bobbles the snap. Remember, he's a quarterback, but he's knocked down to the 16-yard line there. The Frogs will take over and stop him one more time. Does that defense of Gary Patterson, Terrence Maiden will get credit for knocking down Bullock. Snap was there.
Snap was a little high. Bullock couldn't hold it, had to run. Kicking game again. Here we go, look at it again. He just can't get it down. Hanna can't get a kick on it. There's Kendrick Patterson in there with Terrence Maiden coming in on top.
Horned Frogs dodge another bullet now.
Or the 16. The kicking game has been huge in this deal, Brian. It's amazing.
First and 10. Prenters is back in at quarterback for TCU. Frogs leading it here in the third. Tomlinson again. Now he'll break a tackle and get 4 tough yards before Orlando Huff and Chiarmani bring him down.
Franchione said he'd like to get Tomlinson the ball about 25 or 30 carries. He has been bottled up pretty good by this Bulldogs defense today. That particular time, he breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage and pops out for about a 4-yard gain.
Especially the middle of this defense for Fresno State has been really strong up front. Second down. And Casey Prentice checking off, down to 5 of the play clock. 3-step drop, looks left, fires, and Cedric James can't hang on. In coverage was the linebacker Justin Johnson. So if he turns around, maybe be able to make a play on the ball.
Well, I think here we got the outside linebacker covering the wide receiver. The throw was actually a little bit behind Cedric James. And I think TCU will be glad when this quarter's over so they get to move to the other end of the field because it is loud down here in the dog pile.
Third down. Casey Printers again changing the play. High backfield. Printers looks, fires, caught! Scarborough! At the 39-yard line, it'll be first down for the Frogs. Devon Banks in coverage.
After the 39-yard line.
Casey Printers knew what he wanted. Checked off of the line of scrimmage, and Scarborough hangs in the air to bring it down.
Mike Scarborough has been the go-to guy for the Frogs all year and makes another great catch on a great throw to get TCU out of that hole.
Now the 39-yard line. Printers again, the three-step drop. Finds Scarborough one more time. He falls down at the 44. In coverage was Dante Marsh, who had also slipped down, but Scarborough unable to keep his feet. But nonetheless, it will go down as a gain of 5 and bring him second and 5.
The field is actually in pretty good condition. We were down on it yesterday. I was very impressed with the quality of the turf. I'm not really sure why they're slipping around down there today, but Scarborough obviously slipped on that play.
Bermuda surface here at Jim Sweeney Field. Royce Huffman is in the slot to the top of your screen. Printers on second and 5. Pressure, unloads it quickly to Scarborough. He's got a first down and more inside the 45, down to the 43-yard line where Orlando Huff and Dante Marsh bring him down to another first down for TCU.
The Frogs actually let the right side of Fresno's defense come totally free.
Let's quickly go down to the sidelines and Jeff Williams.
A very important number to pay attention to tonight is the number 40. You can find it back over my right shoulder. Rushing yardage for TCU. Since the arrival of Dennis Franchione at Frogland, TCU 7-1 when they gain over 240 yards. They are 0-6 when they are under. A lot of work to do still.
And Tomlinson will try to make up for it on this play. From first down to the 39-yard line. LaDainian will get credit for 4. Jason Stewart on the tackle. Well, 240 through on the ground, as Jeff mentioned, is an important number. Maybe more important as this offense tries to break out. Casey Printers, 11 of 17 for 185 yards throwing the football.
Printers is having a great day. He's already close to his season high for the 2 previous games. That last play, Brian, was the first cross pitch that we've seen on a sweep to the wide side.
Second down now, second and 7. Printers, quick hitter, caught, 35, 34 down to the 31-yard line. Kyle Williams on the receiving end, I believe. The tight end, Dante Marsh on the tackle, along with Rashid Safir, the linebacker.
That's Kyle Williams' first catch of the year. Kyle's also playing defensive tackle, playing both ways for the Frogs. Started that last week. Here he is on a little outlet release to the short side of the field. Casey rolls, throws to the left. Cornerback misses the tackle. Kyle's a big guy playing defensive tackle as well as tight end. Big play for the Frogs.
Last week, Kyle Williams was in on over 60 plays, playing 3 ways, really. Tomlinson on first down. Not a lot of running room there. That's Grant Harrington. Is now Ruffin McNeil, the defensive line coach of Fresno State, starting to rotate his defensive linemen a little more. We've seen Jason Stewart, Grant Harrington. We've seen Brock Torsdahl, Nick Burley, all backup defensive linemen here in the second half.
And they're really playing well. They're pinning the Horned Frogs running game down. They're doing a lot of pinching on the inside. The 2 nose tackles are really coming in hard in the middle.
Second and 10 now at the 32-yard line of Fresno. Printers out of the gun. To throw it. Steps, fires, caught. 19. Down to the 15-yard line. That's LaTerrence Dunbar. Devon Banks on the tackle, along with Maurice Rodriguez. But not before Dunbar gets a first down inside the 15.
I'm really impressed how Casey Printers stayed in the pocket. The heat was coming on him. They had a blitz coming right up the middle. You'll see Printers here. Blitz will be coming right up the middle. He's going to get level, but he goes ahead and delivers a strike.
Dunbar takes a shot, lays a shot as well. Skipper, the middle backer, was on the blitz. First and 10. That's Williams in motion across the formation. Prentice over 200 yards throwing the ball. Penalty markers fly as Tomlinson takes it out of bounds. Maurice Rodriguez rides him out, along with Tim Skipper. And there's a penalty marker down. We mentioned the defensive line coach of Ruffin McNeil here on a great night in Fresno. Fans enjoying it. Good way to start Western Athletic Conference play. We mentioned the defensive line coach for Fresno State. He knows a little bit about Dennis Franchione's offense. Served as defensive coordinator at UNLV up until last year.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
There you see Coach Grant, whose offense seems to be in a little better rhythm tonight.
And once they got away from that dog pound at the south end, it's been a little easier for Casey Prentice to operate.
First and 5 now at the 10-yard line of Fresno. Fullback Lane gets the call to the cutback. To about the 9. Anthony Limbrick, the safety, along with Orlando Huff, the tackles. It'll bring him second down. Second, and we'll call it 4. Prentice, 13 of 19, 210 yards already throwing the football.
So far this second half has been all Casey Prentice. We have not seen Patrick Bateau the second half. Casey's being very effective, made some good calls, made some good audible switches, playing a good ball game.
This is the 11th play of the drive. Lane again. To about the 7. Lembrick one more time, hangs on to Big George Lane. It'll bring up third and short. Listen to the collision here.
Anyone who doesn't think this is a physical game just needs to be watching or just listening.
Not a contact sport, it's a collision sport, isn't it?
It really is.
Second, make it third down, I should say. Third down and a long 2. Here comes a blitz. Bateau's in to run the option. Wrestled down from behind. He'll lose 2. Alan Harper will get credit for the tackle on Patrick Bateau. They give Patrick credit. There was no other option for him. Fresno had it strung out nicely.
They really did, and he was moving to his left, which is the direction that causes him the most problems on the pitch, but the pitch man was not there. He was covered up by the cornerback. Bateau made the wise decision, leave the Frogs in field goal range.
Now Kalaki on for a 28-yarder. Jeff Dover will hold it. Dover had a problem with a snap earlier, gets this one down. Kalaki kicks it through the uprights, and the Frogs have stretched out their lead now. Here late in the third quarter. With 1:28 to play here in the third quarter, TCU now leading it over Fresno 16-7 here in California. Horned Frogs with a lead over Fresno. Back we come after this. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+.
Hey, Michael, John here. I'm hanging out, having a beer. How come you don't come down?
Man, I'm doing the same thing as you. Why don't you come over here? I mean, the Miller Lite is ice cold and so smooth.
Oh, come on, man. From where I'm sitting, the Miller Lite tastes great.
Yeah, but the women are prettier over here. Trust me on this.
I find that very hard to believe.
And you guys call yourselves detectives.
Miller Lite. Taste the true Pilsner.
You know, we're kind of off duty right now. You know.
Hi.
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 To clarify investment opportunities, you don't need better reading glasses. You need better reading. Barron's. It's how money becomes wealth. No one looks at the market with a more insightful eye than Barron's, offering timely coverage of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, everything the independent investor needs to stay informed. Subscribe now And you'll also receive this Barron's Stock Evaluator free. It lets your computer help you turn money into wealth. Get 13 weeks of Barron's and the Stock Evaluator all for only $39. Call now, toll-free in the continental U.S.
800-334-6600. That's 800-334-6600. When we get in an animal's way and they don't want to play, get off their back because they just made
The play in the third quarter. TCU leads it over Fresno 16-7. Frogs with a 9-point advantage over a quiet crowd now at Bulldog Stadium over Fresno. There you see Dennis Franchione. And now Billy Volek, the quarterback, who's 11 of 15 for 88 yards for Fresno. Under center, trailing by 9 in the third. Has 4 wideouts in this package, and Volek to throw it on first down. Has his man. That's Mata, I should say. And Shannon Brazil finally brings him down. Out above the 38-yard line. Going to be close to a first down. Doug Shanks was also in.
This is just a little quick hitch to the wide receiver. Defense kind of over pursues, runs by him. He's able to cut it back inside, pull up, and 9.9 yards gained on that play.
Just short of the first down is Fresno. To the top of the screen is Hatnoff Harris. Second and short. Second back throw gets the call. And may have gotten the first down. Sean Worthen on the tackle. That was Ward. Derek Ward on the carry. Pretty good looking freshman. We mentioned early on his cousin is J.R. Redmond of Arizona State, who had a big day today. And Arizona State's come from behind victory.
Those good bloodlines work in horses. They also work in football players.
Yep. First and 10 now. That's what they said about you and Zach, right? High backfield for Volek. Steps up. Can't elude the final pressure from J.W. Wilson. Sean Worth, Doug Shanks also there. And they'll sack Volek all the way back at the 29-yard line. It'll be a loss of 11 on the play.
All 4 defensive linemen for the Horned Frogs were back there. Any one of the 4 could have made that particular tackle. As you come through, they all bust free. There's Sean Wortham again, who's been waving at him all night long. J.W. Wilson gets the sack.
J.W. has been fighting all week to try to earn that starting spot back that he lost at the Arizona game. That's the end of the third quarter. As the Fresno guys and the Horned Frog players looking at a 16-7 TCU lead over Fresno State.
Par, par, birdie, par, eagle, whoa, par, par, must be a Golf Magazine subscriber. How would you like to shave 3, 4, or 5 strokes off your game? Add 20 yards to your tee shots. Start one-putting greens. Chip like a pro. Blast your way out of the bunker. Shoot lower scores and play the best golf of your life. Now you can by calling for your free trial issue of Golf Magazine. Issue after issue, Golf Magazine gives you proven tips to improve your short game. Develop better touch. Fix your slice. Straighten your hook. Drop more putts. Drive longer and more. All to have you saying par, par, birdie. When you call now for your free trial issue, you'll get the Golf Magazine gear bag as your free gift. Call now for your free trial issue of Golf Magazine. If you like it, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $19.97. Plus, get the Golf Magazine gear bag free with your paid subscription.
Call 1-800-848-9339 now.
Weekday evenings at 8 on TV 55, it's Quincy.
There's been a report that Jessica Ross may have died in this fire. Can you tell us anything about that, sir?
Highest paid newswoman in the world. She must have died before she had a chance to inhale too much smoke.
Death was almost instantaneous from just closing the case. If you continue to pursue it, you're going to have to face consequences.
55 has the shows you know.
A long way from being over. You know, Brian, TCU's already scored more points in this half than they did the the second half of the 3 previous games total. So far, the Frogs have got 5 sacks for losses of 37 yards.
Sean Worthen having a nice night, as is J.W. Wilson. Aaron Schobel has been a point of emphasis for this offensive line of Fresno. Second down and long, second and 20. Rolling to throw it. Over the middle, it's caught. Across the 35, 40. Here goes Paris Gaines out of the backfield. Shannon Brazil hangs on. Gain of 11 on the play to bring up third down and 9.
This is just a quick hitter over the middle. Chad Baird kind of slips the tackle and allows the receiver to make a nice 10-yard gain.
Bullock goes over the century mark, throwing the football.
Brian, I've been impressed with the TCU pass defense. Even though Bullock's got a high percentage, they've all been short passes. The Frogs have done a good job of really containing this high-octane Bulldog offense.
13 of 17 for 108 yards is Bullock. Motion across the formation. Bullock now to throw it, dumps it out. Incomplete at the 35-yard line. Sean Worthen again applying the pressure. There's a penalty mark. Looks like it's going to be a legal procedure against Fresno. Worthen hanging on to it.
Sean Worthen again, and there's no doubt that the best pass defense is the pass rush. And they have put pressure on Bullock all night.
Illegal shift. 2 men moving at the same time. On the offense. Penalty decline. 4th down.
Well, north of the border, that would have been okay. But not here. It'll bring up 4th down, and Pat Hill will elect to punt it away. Joel Comfort is back out. LeVar Veal stands at the Frog 21-yard line. Good snap. Comfort's got a good one in the air here. Veal at the 15 and wrapped up at the 14. You know, you could almost call this penalty on every play. It has become a point of emphasis, and Pat Hill knows exactly what the call is going to be. It is the 2-yard halo. Terrence Brown, along with Tyree Sands, with a guilty party this time for Fresno. Here's another look at it.
Well, Comfort had a great punt, extremely high. There was great coverage on the play, and in this particular...
The man was blocked.
Oh, they wave it off.
Well, with the height there, LeVar Veal is absolutely fearless back there. He doesn't care how close they get, he's going to catch it.
He's almost baiting them. Is LeVar Veal. That's a signal for the fair catch. But they'll say that Fresno State Sams was blocked into. Well, they said he was blocked into the thing.
I don't think they saw the replay on that one.
1st and 10 now for the Frogs. And they're on 15-yard line. Prentice checks to Tomlinson. He'll get a couple. Davini Lockhart on the tackle. It'll bring him 2nd down and long.
Well, it doesn't surprise me here. I think Franchioni's going to run the clock a little bit on this one.
You see Pat Hill, the head coach, a little prayer meeting going on the sidelines. That is Paris Gaines, running back, very vocal on the Bulldog sideline. 2nd and 8. Three-step drop. Brenner's shot knocked down. I believe Lockhart may have knocked it down. It'll bring him 3rd down.
Here we go. You'll be able to see the knockdown. Big right up the middle, looking for Scarborough. 49 in your back, in the backdrop there. Linebacker was looking for the INT.
That's Orlando Huff. Lockhart gets credit for the knockdown. 3rd down. 4-men rush. Prentice with time down the left sideline and overfires Scarborough. Had to get rid of that one. Alan Harper was applying pressure on Casey Prentice. Fans, don't forget, we'll be back on television on the 16th of October. Herald, our first game from Amon Carter Stadium in Fort Worth when the Frogs play host to the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. You'll see that game here at 6:05 Central Time. Frogs are back in action, of course, next week in Fort Worth against San Jose. Huffman to punt it away. Charles Smith retreats and stands at the Fresno 36-yard line.
They've got 10 on the line.
Good snap. They come after Huffman. Another pretty good punt from Roy. Penalty marker flies, roughing the punter. Picked up by Smith across the 40 he goes. 45 to the 46-yard line. I think it's Marquise Davis who may have run into the punter Huffman. Curtis Fuller will get credit for the tackle of Smith, but
I think they're going to call this the 5-yard variety, running into the kicker versus roughing the kicker. The 5 yards.
It was Ward, actually, the running back.
He actually hit him pretty good there. The foot was in the air, but they're calling it running into the kicker, which is only a 5-yard penalty.
We have a 5-yard. Fourth down.
And looks like Dennis Franchioni's going to elect to punt it again.
Well, obviously, he didn't like the field position that Fresno got. It's always dangerous when you re-kick one, but they got a pretty good return on that. So we're going to give Huffman another try.
That's the 8th penalty of the night, charged to TCU for 95 yards. Fresno was 6 for 41. Last week, the Horned Frogs were penalized over 16 times at Arkansas State. Good snap. Huffman. End open punt that hits at the 34-yard line. Pretty good decision by Franchioni as they'll have it at the 32. Is where they'll spot the football for Fresno. Time out of the field, 12:55 now to play in the ballgame. Horned Frogs 16, Fresno 7. You're watching TCU football from ESPN Plus. First and 10 for Fresno State from their own 32-yard line with 12:55 to play the fourth quarter. Frogs leading it over the Bulldogs 16-7. And Bullock to air it out on first down as a man open and it's sacked away at the last second by Reggie Hunt. The intended receiver was Salim Mahdi. And a great play by the safety Hunt converging on the pass.
Well, they were in half coverage. Reggie Hunt's back there playing center field. You see him break on the ball, and really he has a good opportunity to intercept this ball. But double coverage, good play by the Horned Frogs.
Jason Goss was also in coverage. Volek has struggled this year with the deep ball. Uncharacteristic of Billy Volek. Second down at 10. Second back through is Gaines. Has some room. Across midfield it goes. It's a foot race and he's run down by Curtis Fuller. Paris Gaines trying to breathe new life in this Fresno State offense. We saw him earlier on the sidelines with that offensive unit all the way down he goes to the 30-yard line.
Well, Russell Gary's in a blitz from the bottom of your screen. Caught the Frogs again shorthanded toward the outside as he breaks up the middle, jukes Jason Goss. And Curtis Fuller is really making a lot of tackles. Last week against Arkansas State 14, and he's had double-digit tackles tonight too.
After that 39-yard gain, Paris Gaines 6 carries for 61 yards and Volek to throw it. Looks for his outlet and Gaines again. Inside the 25, Reggie Hunt forces him out of bounds. 24-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6. And second and 4 upcoming.
Well, Volek shows why he's such a good quarterback. This particular play, Aaron Hunt is coming in all over him. Got his hands up. Volek pumps and then basically just throws it underneath his arm to the back in the backfield.
Now for the 24-yard line at TCU. Billy Volek, the quarterback, trying to right the ship with this offense of Fresno State. High-powered offense that has only scored 7. Ward on second down will get close to the first down. Aaron Chauvin and Shannon Brazil on the time. Fresno comes in averaging 32 points a ball game. Billy Volek, almost a typical Billy Volek night. Not going to make a lot of mistakes. He's thrown some 59 pass attempts, his last 59 pass attempts without an interception. Third down, of course, coming into this ball, he hadn't been sacked in 2 games. That went by the wayside early and often. Ward to the 20-yard line, close to a first down. I don't know if he got it.
Looks like he's going to be about a half a yard short to bring up 4th down here.
Terrence Maiden on the tackle that time, along with Sean Wortham.
Big Sean Wortham's had a great game today, Brian. He has been all over the field today. Has really put a lot of pressure on Volek, and a lot of good tackles.
J.W. Wilson checks into the lineup. Kendrick Patterson comes in as well at one of the corners.
37-yard attempt.
Short yardage defense. No,
Hannah's in for the field goal.
And 37-yard effort is up and goes. The Horned Frogs had brought in a couple of substitutions in anticipation of a fake field goal, but Hannah nails it through. 37-yarder, and it's a 16-10 ball game. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+.
Is there someone who can tell
TCU
me?
football is brought to you live by Taco Bell, proud sponsor of Horned Frog football.
On that last possession, Brian, Pat Hill had to be thinking he needs 2 scores to beat TCU. He had a 4th and short there at the 20, but he decided to go ahead and take those points then, and he still got to make the touchdown.
37-yard field goal by Hannah. Makes it a 6-point ball game now. Hannah back out to kick it off. Scarborough and Hunt are back to the prom. An onside kick attempt. LeVar building it. Tim Maiden was hit. But Kevin Colon comes up with it at the 49-yard line, and a penalty marker flies because, well, I'm not sure why. May have been a fake.
Well, they may be calling illegal touching. That ball actually hit a Fresno player in the helmet, but it had traveled 10 yards. A great onside kick again. We've seen 2 of them tonight, but the Frogs come up calling interference there.
I think Charles Smith is
5 yards, halo violation on the kicking team. First down.
Boy, oh boy.
Watch this particular kick. He's going to pop this thing up, and it actually is going to hit a Fresno player in the helmet.
Right there. It hit Smith. Anthony Lembrick is a guilty party, did not allow Tim Maiden to come down with a football. Hannah kind of looked like you with a sandwich there.
And Kevin Colon with a great recovery.
The old quarterback. 1st and 10. Brenner rolls to his left, looks downfield. He's going for it all for Scarborough. And he just threw it out of bounds. In coverage was Devon Banks. Chiarmani with the flying pressure. 2nd and 10. Horned Frogs, Fresno territory here in the 4th quarter. Leading it by 6. Got a break on the onside kick. And you know Dennis Franchione would like to come away with some points here to make it a 2-possession ball game. 2nd and 10. Brenner's 3-step drop, looking deep. Dunbar makes the grab. Look here, Dunbar is down at the 6-yard line. Dante Marsh was in coverage. It'll be 1st and goal for the Frogs.
This is a great one-handed catch by Dunbar. He looked over his shoulder. The ball did pop loose when he hit the ground, but we all know that the ground can cause a fumble. You know, Franchione was playing it kind of close to the vest when he had a 9-point lead. When he got back to 6, it looked like he said, we need more points on the board. Here, Printers throws a great deep ball over the shoulder. Dunbar catches it with one hand, and then as he hits the ground, the ball pops free.
Look at that concentration by LaTerrence Dunbar. Former running back, now Patrick Bateau will be in with a full house backfield behind him. The eyeball, Royce Huffman is in motion across the formation. Tomlinson inside the 5 to the 4. Alan Harper and Justin Johnson on the tackle.
Yeah, I think Franchione's feeling a lot better, but he's going to really feel good if they get some more points on the board.
Just inside the 5-yard line and bring up 2nd and goal. Terrence Dunbar is a guy that Graham would like to get the ball to more.
He is a game breaker. The Wackeye hurdles champion. A lot of speed. Played running back for the Frogs up until two-a-days. And moved to wide receiver, trying to get him the ball. He is a game breaker.
Start out of the eyeball now. Lane and Scarborough retreated. Tomlinson has to take a timeout. That's a slow developing play. And with 1 second on the play clock, wisely LaDainian Tomlinson setback calls the timeout. And that'll bring Patrick Bateau over to visit with Dennis Franchione.
I think Tomlinson saw the 25-second clock, or felt like it was running out. They had lined up in a tight backfield, split out to 2 wideouts. And you don't want to take the risk at this point in time for a delay of game. Good use of a timeout there. Good thinking by the junior running back from Waco.
Dennis Franchione's on the headset there to Dan Dodd, his offensive coordinator.
I can't believe he's that calm.
Let's check in on the sidelines. Jeff Williams with an update. Jeff?
Well, I know a number of you have noticed the helmets of Fresno State. This is a team that's fairly red, white, and blue, but they've got a green V on the back of their helmets. Well, that V is for Valley, tribute to the area's farming community that supports the team. In fact, they were a big part of the fundraising for the school's NFL caliber practice facility, which they call San Joaquin Valley Growers Field. And for those who don't know, the San Joaquin Valley, the world's richest valley in export dollars. And in case you're wondering, the crop of choice here, actually 2, grapes and figs. Back up to you guys.
It's amazing the things he knows in the hair.
I'll tell you what, I don't know where Jeff gets all that stuff.
Look at the total yards, 306 total yards. 2nd down at the Fresno 5. The eyeball behind the toe. Now in motion goes Huffman now on the outside of the short side. Patrick keeps it, dances to about the line of scrimmage. And that's going to bow out. You can tell that Fresno has spent a lot of time this week on the option game.
Well, they've done a tremendous job stopping the run. They have really basically just totally eliminated the running part of the offense for the Horned Frogs. However, TCU's done a great job with the passing game, and we're going to see Casey Printers come here and run this 3rd down.
Well, the Horned Frogs just 4 of 11 in the 3rd down conversion department tonight. We'll send out Printers. Now it is 3rd down and goal to the 7-yard line. Nathan Schobel is split and slapped to the top of your screen. That's Schobel in motion. Scarborough to the bottom. Lane, the fullback, to the 4-yard line. That's on. Orlando Huff, the linebacker, makes the tackle, and we'll see Chris Kalaki again. With a moving clock at 7:55 to play in the game. Kalaki will come out to try to make it a 2-possession affair. Jeff Dover, the backup quarterback, will hold it. Brian Edmondson will snap it back. It'll be a 22-yarder for Kalaki. High snap, Dover gets it down. Kalaki has knocked it through, and the Horned Frogs have stretched the lead out to 9 with 7:26 to play here in the Central Valley of California.
That kind of brings a hush over this Bulldog crowd. They have really been a factor in this game tonight, but trailing by 9 now, they've got to have 2 scores to catch the Horned Frogs.
Well, TCU now leading it by 9 at 19-10. That drive was a 6-play drive. That results in 3 more.
A great catch there by Terrence Dunbar sets this up. After that catch, he was over on the sidelines having a little bit of cramping.
You think Kalaki like this?
Here you see Dover. Yep, he likes Chris. Chris is a good guy. Kalaki acts like it's no big deal.
Done it before.
He hadn't had the opportunity for too many of those short ones this year. Coming into this game, every attempt he had was over 40 yards.
Some of the fans starting to file out here at Fresno. Still a lot of time left, especially with this offense. Billy Volek in the crew. Kay Lackey to kick it off now. Back deep is Charles Smith for Fresno. And Dennis Franchione has not kicked it to Charles Smith here in the second half.
Looks like he's going to do the little chip shot again, try to prevent the run back. Real high kick.
Fair catch signaled for and made by Orlando Huff at the 39-yard line. And that is where Fresno will work on their own 39. Billy Volek.
It'll be interesting to see if they challenge TCU deep. They've been really going with a short passing game. You can see Volek there, 14 of 20. They have not challenged Horned Frogs deep.
First and 10 now, the 30-yard line. They'll hand it off to James, who's got some running room in a big hole. Across midfield he goes, and finally ridden down by Curtis Fuller at the TCU 46-yard line. All of a sudden, Harris Gaines has been the go-to guy on the ground for Fresno.
Well, this is really a result of poor tackling. As you see Gaines break through the line, he's got two linebackers. I believe we've got Shannon Brazil first, and then we've got Chad Bear that missed him. And Curtis Fuller's there to make a big stop.
Now the 45-yard line of TCU. That's where they'll spot it. Volek on first down, hands it off again to Gaines, but this time a whole host of Horned Frogs there, including Doug Shanks. To wrap up Gaines, it'll bring up second down at 11, maybe second down at 12. Actually, loss of 2 on the play.
Fresno's going to go with the no huddle here. There's 6:45 left. They need 2 scores, and they're going to be a little up-tempo.
Volek with a 3-step drop, has a man open inside the 35 into the 30-yard line goes Rodney Wright. Jason Goss hangs on, but Wright has another first down for Fresno.
39, Jason Goss defending.
This looks more like the little West Coast offense. I know we're in the Citral Valley, but they're beginning a passing attack. These short passes that remind me a lot of the West Coast offense.
At the 30-yard line now of the Horned Frogs. Volek again over the middle, fires it out, it is caught, hanging on is the tight end. Vince Brandstetter, did he hang on? He does. At the 14-yard line of TCU, a big target is Brandstetter. Terrence Maiden was hanging on.
Good coverage here, great throw. Terrence Maiden was right there, but he threw it exactly the only spot the defender couldn't get to it, and a great catch by the tight end, Brandstetter.
Coming right at you on this replay, Brandstetter with a great grab. Now Volek on first and 10 of the TCU 15-yard line. Looks, fires, incomplete. Short arm by Charles Smith. Curtis Fuller was on the cover.
Yeah, we had a pair of 18s colliding there, and I'm telling you, Curtis Fuller was ready to clean him.
Second and 10.
Now Fresno will face second and 10 of the TCU 15.
Charles Smith and Rodney White, the 2 wideouts, 17 and 18, are really the go-to guys for Billy Volek.
They are split to either side with Marty in the slot to the right. Penalty markers fly. I think Michael Stovall, the right guard who has moved from center, may have jumped off sides.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. Our penalty, still, second down.
So the incomplete pass and the penalty there stops the clock with 6:03 to play in this ball game. TCU leading it by 9.
Fresno's had a great conversion record in the red zone. I think they've converted all but 2 opportunities this season when they get inside the 20-yard line.
Second and 15 for Volek. Checking off of the line of scrimmage. Good coverage down there by Greg Walls for the Frogs. And a faithful in Fresno wanted pass interference on Greg Walls. the junior out of Picayune, Mississippi.
Now, Monty was really begging the official for a call there. It's a good throw right over the shoulder. Walls has got good protection, using the sideline as his next defender. That's just a good defensive play.
Third down now for Fresno. Play clock is at 6. Bullock on the quarterback draw. Finds a seam and fights forward down to the 11-yard line, where Curtis Fuller with a big hit on Billy Bullock. He'll be short of the first down. And Jeff Hanna has trotted out one more time for Pat Hill. Same situation, down by 2 scores. Try to take the easy one here with 5:30 to go.
Right, smart play. It's 4th and 5. Get the field goal. See what you can do.
27-yarder. Hanna's kick is good. 2 of 12 tonight is Jeff Hanna. And Fresno is back within 6. Well, the Frogs actually, yes, back within 6. With 5:23 to play. 19-13. Frogs lead it over Fresno. You're watching TCU football from ESPN+. Goal of the night from Jeff Hanna for Fresno. Makes it a 6-point ball game with the Horned Frogs still in the lead here.
You think we'll see that onside kick again?
Would not be surprised.
It wouldn't surprise me.
We've seen about everything else tonight. It has been a beautiful night here in Fresno.
Well, that last attempt at onside kick was actually a great play. Kevin Colin ends up making a great reception to protect it for the Frogs.
Let's see what Hanna does. Has it teed him at the 35. Going to kick this one away. Reggie Hunt wisely goes down to a knee. A yard deep in the end zone. So the Horned Frogs with 5:17 to play. And a 6-point lead. Will start from their own 20.
That particular kickoff, Reggie Hunt was back about 2 yards deep in the end zone. The rest of his teammates had played pretty close up to the kicker, anticipating an onside kick. Reggie made a real good decision there just to kneel down.
There you see at halftime, this was a 7-7 ball game. Alan Nicholas is in at middle backer for Tim Skipper. Casey Plinter's checking off the line. 2 seconds on the play clock. He got it off. It's Tomlinson. Not a lot of running room there. Orlando Huff with the tackle.
The Bulldogs have done a great job for Alan Tomlinson. He has really not pulled off more than about a 6-yard run all night long. Here you see him on the replay right up the middle. And there's 3 guys there,
including Frank Battle out of Elm City, North Carolina. Spent a couple of years at Merced Junior College. 2nd and 9 for Printers out of a shotgun. He'll throw it. In traffic and behind his intended receiver. He and Schobel, there was some confusion there on the route, I believe.
Yeah, someone ran the wrong route. You had 2 receivers side by side, 3 defenders right there. Hopefully Casey was just throwing that one away.
Third down play here with the clock stopped at 4:34 to play in the game. Horned Frogs just 4 of 12 of third down conversions. And this the biggest one of the night. 3rd and 9. And this crowd is on their feet. Printers from the shotgun. With time, steps up, fires. Incomplete. Terrence Brown with great coverage on Mike Scarborough. It'll bring up 4th down, and Royce Huffman will have to punt it away.
Scarborough's been the go-to man all season. He went down for the curl pattern, had the first down by about a yard. The throw was a little bit low, and couldn't come up with it. Wouldn't be surprised right now to see Pat Hill go for a block punt.
Keep your eye number 17 to the bottom of the string. There he is. Nope, they wave it off, and Royce Huffman punts it to Smith. We're a little plump after it. Still on his feet, dancing and jiving to the 40-point line. And that's where Fresno will work.
Charles Smith is a dangerous return man. You saw there the reason. He is very elusive, hard to tackle, hard to get your hands on. He avoids about 4 or 5 horn frogs here as he's dancing around right and left. Mike Scarborough flying by. Curtis Fuller.
So from the 43-yard line. 43-yard line now. 45-yard punt for Huffman. Fresno starts for their own 43 with 4:17 to go. Bowling looking for it all on first down. Airs it out for right. Penalty marker is going to fly. That's the freshman Jason Goss from O.D. Wyatt.
Well, that particular play, Goss actually had Wright pretty well covered. Bolick actually throws it up in the air. It's kind of a jump ball. Goss gets all twisted up and just runs over Wright.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Brother could have gotten a face mask, 2 on the end.
Yeah, it really could. It really wasn't a bad coverage. The ball was slightly underthrown, which made the receiver come back and, in effect, had Jason Goss run over.
Bolick just put too much air under it. 19-13 Prime to the lead. There's the penalties that have been a factor in every game so far for TCU. A point of emphasis this week in practice for Dennis Franchone's club. Here's Paris Gaines trying to bounce it outside and wrestled down from behind by Greg Wall. After a gain of a couple of them, play to bring up second down.
There's Walls. He just kind of steer wrestles him down as Gaines breaks it out to the outside, catches him by the back of the shoulder pads, and drags him down.
Hurry up offense for Billy Volek and the Fresno State Bulldogs. Retreats, pressured by Schobel. Finds his man, though. That is, I believe, the tight end on the receiving end. It is Brandstetter. Chad Baer and Shannon Brazil making Brazil and Maiden on the tackle. Short of the first down, but it'll bring him third down. Good job by Brazil pulling him backwards so he doesn't get the first down.
Here's the tight end on the crossing route. Brazil stays at home, locks him up, and then Terrence Maiden comes in to help finish him off.
Third and short. Quick hitter, caught. That's right. Inside the 20. To the 17-yard line, Reggie Hunt and Terrence Maiden wrestle him down, but Rodney Wright has another first down for the Bulldogs.
Fresno does a great job running this play. The receiver catches it. He's running at full speed right up the middle. They pull a couple of linemen out there, get some quick blocks. Reggie Hunt there on the tackle.
17-yard pass play. Ball now just outside the 17-yard line. Gaines outside he goes. Inside the 15, 10. Down to the 9-yard line. Reggie Hunt offensive. It'll bring him second and short with 2:30 to go.
Fresno's got a history of comebacks, as we mentioned at the start of the fourth quarter. And here they are again.
And the Fresno State faithful who left this ball game when it was a 19-10 game, they're missing their money's worth right now. Second and short at the 10-yard line of TCU. One setback is Gaines behind Volek. He's looking and firing and incomplete on a penalty marker again. Now here's the issue. The ball may have been tipped here. Greg Walters was in coverage. But let's see if this ball was touched before it made it to the wideout. Kyle Williams may have gotten a handle on it. Actually, the linebacker tipped the football. Shannon Brazil.
The official didn't see it that way. Greg Walls was definitely made contact with the receiver before the ball got there. And the Bulldogs are going to have first and goal on the 3-yard line.
Got the spot.
You can see Brazil.
You can see the rotation on the ball change. The ball was tipped, which means it should not be pass interference.
First and goal to the 3-yard line of the Frogs. In motion is Billy Jack Pierce. Second back through is Ward. Tries to bounce it outside. Penalty markers flying into the 2-yard line, and we may have a hold here on the left guard, Rob Guttrell.
Terrence Maiden slips through there, applies pressure in the backfield. Ward slips away, and Reggie Hunt brings him down, but Terrence Maiden's the one that made that play.
Curtis Fuller was also involved. Let's see what the penalty is. Well, these two teams were picked 1 and 2 in the Western Athletic Conference preseason poll, and this game has lived up.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 3 plays. First down.
It'll back them outside of the 10-yard line. Remain first and goal, however.
There you see Gary Patterson and Mark Parks barking signals into the TCU defense. Gary Patterson, the defensive coordinator. Mark Parks, the linebacker coach.
11-yard line, make it up to 16-yard line now is where they spot the football. After the 10-yard walk-off. First and goal at the 16-yard line. 1:35 to play. Bullock, inside handoff. Aaron Schobel wraps up Paris Gaines. Clock is moving with 1:25 to play. J.W. Wilson also on the tackle of Paris Gaines. Second and goal upcoming for Fresno. Clock continues to move with 1:15 to play. Bullock looks left, fires, caught, inside the 5, touchdown. Rodney Wright beat Jason Goss on the inside, and Fresno has tied this game.
And they pick on the redshirt freshman slant on the inside. The free safety, LeVar Veal, is not there. There's the Veal. He was playing to the outside. He slips down. Veal had come in for Curtis Fuller. And we've got a tie ball game with the extra point to come.
Hannah for the lead. He missed it. It was blocked by the Frogs. Russell Gary got a hand on it with 1:08 to play. We remain tied at 19.
Brian, we've talked about the kicking game. We've had 2 blocks now. We've had kickoff returns. We've had fake punts. We've had onside kicks. What a game.
And you saw the look of disgust by Pat Hill. This happened earlier today. We saw Florida and Alabama go to overtime and 2 extra points missed.
Well, this is like 2 prize fighters out here knocking each other out. We got 1:08 left. And no telling what's going to happen.
A lot of time left in this game, based on what we've seen so far.
There you see Pat Hill. He can't be very happy. Thought he had made the comeback of all comebacks there. And Russell Gary comes through to block that extra point.
Tied at 19 with 1:08 to play. The Frogs have another shot.
Gary beat Derek Ward on the inside on that particular play. Derek Ward was a special teams hero for Fresno last week as he blocked the punt.
Hannah to kick it off. Scarborough and Hunt are back deep. will be Reggie Hunt from the 6. And a good job downfield by Fresno State. There's a penalty marker down to the 40-yard line. Alan Nicholas will get credit for the tackle, but a penalty marker rests back at the 40-yard line of Fresno.
Fresno was offsides on this particular kick.
Yeah.
And my guess is Franchioni's going to see if Reggie Hunt can't run another one back.
Yeah, make him kick it again. 1:03 to play in this game.
Offside on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Free kick.
Tied at 19. And they'll kick it one more time, this time from the 30-yard line. That is where Jeff Hanna will tee it up. Well, we knew coming in there would be some fireworks in this affair. Here's the latest, a touchdown by Rodney Wright on a pass from Volek, but the PAT was blocked. And the Horned Frogs have life, tied at 19 with 1:03 to go.
And the Frogs have put Terrence Dunbar, the speedster, back there with Reggie Hunt to return this kickoff.
Jeff Hanna. Another high end-over-end kick. Reggie Hunt this time from his 14. Penalty markers fly. And again, pretty well defensed by Fresno, as they'll hold Reggie Hunt to a return of just 7 yards up to the 21-yard line. But a couple of penalty markers fly. Orlando Huff will get credit for the tackle. It's against TCU. It looks like the preliminary signal, and it is.
Well, this is not what TCU wanted. They didn't get real good field position anyway on the kick return. Now they've got the block in the back. Look at Fresno's total yards in the second half versus the Frogs.
Illegal ball in the back on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Each team's got 2 timeouts remaining. 58 seconds. Be interesting to see what TCU decides to do. They got the toe in the quarterback.
From the 13-yard line. First and 10 for the Frogs with 58 seconds to play. Bateau rolls to his left. He'll tuck it under and run to the 16-yard line, where Tavidi Lockhart knocks it down. And there's an injured Bulldog back at the 6. It is Justin Johnson, the outside linebacker, the injured Fresno State player.
There you see Dennis Franchioni talking to the officials. He's wondering about this particular injury. We really didn't see Johnson on that particular play, but obviously the clock stops with the injured player. It should start back up as soon as the ball is set back in play.
There you see him working on Johnson's left shoulder, it looks like.
Tim Skipper, the middle linebacker that's been so active for the Bulldogs, has been is still out.
Here you see Johnson right there.
Yep, he's grabbing his shoulder, grabbing his arm. He may have had a little dislocation there from what that looks like. I hate to be the analyst in the medical field here, but so the clock should start running again as soon as the ball is placed into play, and it looks like to me that Franchioni's ready to take this thing to overtime.
49 seconds to play, tied at 19. Second and 8. Bateau remains in at quarterback. You're right. Patrick going to let the play clock wind all the way down. Takes his time, rolls out, slips down to the 8. 20 seconds to play. Fresno will take a timeout. Anthony Limbrick on the stop. It'll bring up third down. Fresno will have one timeout remaining.
Timeout. Fresno State, their second charge, team timeout.
They will be able to stop the clock after this third down play with 13 seconds to go.
They should be able to get one more play off. TCU is facing a third and about 14 yards. There's 13 seconds left. Fresno's got one timeout left. I really don't see where TCU can run the clock out, so more than likely Fresno will call timeout after this next play, force the Frogs into a punting situation, and there comes the kicking game again.
You want to give significant one more of those.
Billy Volek has brought Fresno State back into this game, tying it up at 19. Here with 13 seconds to play, Patrick Bateau, the other side, is in to run the clock out.
Brian, a game that has two title contenders playing each other here has really turned into being a great title matchup. And we say title matchup, it's the first game of the year, but these are the two teams that were selected by the press to be the top teams in the WAC.
Should this game go in overtime, we'll try to recap the rules that are in place involving the extra stanza. Third down and 13 seconds to play. Bateau to Tomlinson. Takes it outside, 15, and ridden down to the 17, 18-yard line with 4 seconds to play. Dante Marsh brings it down.
Timeout. Fresno State, their last timeout of the half.
Well, with 4 seconds to play, there is a chance that the clock could run out on a Royce Huffman punt. If you punt it at all.
If you punt it, the clock would run out. But, you know, Fresno has nothing to lose on this particular play. They will be sending everyone, trying to get a block here. And Huffman is going to be under some pressure just to get it off.
And you saw Dennis Ranchoni there saying we have to punt the football. There was some talk. You could see Patrick saying maybe we take one more play, I run around and then down it, and then the ball game's over with. Well, if you get tackled before you run the 4 seconds off, then of course Fresno's going to take over deep in your own territory. You got to punt it out of there, and Royce Huffman, the barefooted punter, trots out one more time for TCU. Royce today averaging just under 42 yards a kick.
Royce is a great player, senior, great leader on this team. Has been in pressure situations before. His dad was also a punter here at TCU. And they got 11 on the line, and you can bet they're all coming.
And if Charles Smith is smart, he'll fair catch it. 4 seconds to play.